All right. Look at us. It's a Wednesday and oh my. Normally I'm constantly closing down windows before stream, but today, hey Zeal, today I'm opening them up. I have a veritable mountain of windows open, trying to set up the appropriate stuff for us to do the work that we need to do. Because today's stream is a little something special. We're gonna do some modding today. We are going to, I won't say sling some code. We're gonna sling some XML, as it were. But nonetheless, we're gonna mess around with some things. Good morning, Illustrious. Good morning. So yeah, so let's without further ado, let's get things set up here. Let's see. It is chilly here as well, Zeal. All right, so we're in for a treat today. We're going to be doing something very different than we normally do. Rather than playing the last spell per se, we will be playing the last spell a bit. We're going to be doing a bit of coding, which means that I need to get a variety of things up here. I'm wondering why my code snippet is not capturing right now. I doubt the game can endure what we are about to. But why are you not capturing? There we go. All right. So we got some code. We'll be tinkering around with that a bit as we go through things. And then the other thing that we need to get going is the game itself. And then we'll talk a bit through the various tools, etc., that we're going to be using for this process. But hopefully, there we go. This is what we're going to be utilizing here. So we have a shrunk down version of the last spell at 1600 by 1200. And this window doesn't have chat yet. Hold on a second. That's something we're going to have to add. Please hold. Please hold indeed. Oh man. So this is when you know things are getting weird. There we go. So I added chat. But is it going to cooperate? Is the critical question here. We're doing it live. Looks good to me. All right, we'll leave you guys like that-ish. So Illustrious, what device are you using? Because I think you often watch on mobile, and I don't know that the code is ever going to be super mobile friendly. Unfortunately. So right now I can try increasing font size a bit, but at some point it becomes just a little ridiculous. And we are going to be doing a playthrough of the last spell. So I'm struggling a bit with exactly how to make it work, but you know, like on a computer, which is where I primarily took a look at how I was operating things. Yeah, it's really, I think it's going to be hard. I think if we put the game in the lower right, the game would be like hilariously small. And I think the exciting thing more so for most people is going to be seeing the change skills operating. So we'll see. I will provide all of the files that we work on in the Discord. Yes, Kovacs. So I've been doing some testing. Yeah, there's too many things. Trust me. If you saw my desktop, you would you would probably have an absolute heart attack. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go through some of the tools that we're using to accomplish what we're accomplishing. And the first one I want to bring up is a tool that I've been using for a long time that is called Asset Studio. Unfortunately, this one does not have the ability for me to change font size in it. I don't believe. Yeah, so this one's going to be small. I apologize. That's kind of the nature of the beast. But I use Asset Studio a great deal, not for modding purposes. I use Asset Studio extensively for extracting sprites from the game. So if we come in here and we grab this, and we just we'll pick like a big sprite, like Light Ray might be a good example. But you can see all of the sprites for everything that we encounter in the game are available here. I think that is... I tried something like that in Lustrous, but unfortunately OBS, which is the thing that manages the scenes, doesn't have the capacity to do it. So Asset Studio is amazing. And you can pull a huge amount of data out of it. Normally, I'm pulling assets like this to make thumbnails or set up things like that. But Asset Studio is amazing. And the thing that Asset Studio helps you with most, at least for the purposes of what we're doing today, is it allows us to find files that contain the information that we're looking for. So in this case, what we're going to be playing around with mostly is these files here. And Asset Studio is great for extracting the specific XML that the game is providing in a kind of like clear and concise form that is also vaguely searchable. The other tool that we're going to be using is not great for inspecting the XML, but is great for updating it. So these two things combined are going to like aid us. But Asset Studio is fantastic. And if I bring up, is this going to work? Please hold a second. There we go. If I bring up Firefox for a second, maybe. Switch to studio mode. It's forgotten all my windows. There we go. That looks like it is working. All right, there we go. I just have to hide Asset Studio. There's a lot to juggle here. But anyways, this is the mods that we've already made. We're not going to be taking a look at those quite yet. But the first of the two pieces of software is Asset Studio, and specifically, it is the Asset Studio done fork by Alurum. The links will be in the video description for those who are interested in it, but Asset Studio is great for any Unity-based game that's using kind of the standard asset containers. So we're gonna be using this extensively, and the deal is that the original version that this was forked off of is no longer updated for the current versions of Unity. So this one loads game files without error, which is fantastic. So anyways, so that's, whoops, that doesn't go away when I minimize it. Kovacs, we're going to be modifying a lot of weapon behaviors. That's the plan. I've done a bit of modding already, and we're going to do a bit more. So then the second tool that I wanted to talk about here is the Unity Asset Bundle Extractor, also known as UABE. And UABE is the thing that is going to allow us to reconstitute the .asset files after we've made the changes. So this one lacks the nice interface of the Asset Studio GUI, but it contains all of the same stuff. So basically what I've done is I've copied my shared assets 0.asset, which is the primary place where all of the image assets and text assets live inside of the last spell. And I'm going to be using that to find the stuff that we need to find. So for instance, the file that we were looking at before it's skill A, B, C, D, E, F, G, skill, there we go. Skill definitions, magic item, right? So this one here, you can use the export and import raw and dump things. Like for instance, you can export as a text file or a JSON file. The issue is that this particular piece of software doesn't handle carriage returns and line feeds correctly. So you're going to end up with a giant mass of garbage unless you follow this one simple tip, whatever, which is that the way that you actually want to interface with this is you want to go ahead and click on the thing that you're interested, skill definitions, items, magic items. And then, and you can kind of see all this stuff here, but you're going to go to view data, and you're going to get a tab that has basically no information, because the way that the data is stored in the asset file is you have a string key, which is the thing that we were just looking at, right? Skill definition, item, magic items. And then you have a string script that contains all of the data for that file. And so we are going to be using the export and import functions on these string-based assets. Bray, that's kind of the joke. You got it. Yes, it is not indeed a secret stream, but we're doing secret things. But so anyways, so as part of the prep here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open my 3 tabs to start with just weapon data. Shh, don't tell people it's being streamed. Yes, an open secret indeed. So you're not going to see these 2 pieces of software moving forward. I would apologize for it, but not really. They're not super interesting, but basically what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be editing the file that you see over on the right-hand side of your screen. I can kind of scroll through it here so you can see, right? We're going to be changing up various pieces of the definition, and then I'm going to be using the asset bundle extractor to reconstitute the shared asset file and then reinsert it into the appropriate place. So with that in mind, now one other quick detail: if you're thinking about tinkering around with this yourself, which I would encourage you to do, the folder structure that I found works well is I took the shared asset 0.assets file, which is the primary last spell asset file. It's located in the last spell data. You can go into Steam and right click on the game, browse local files, and you'll find it pretty quickly. So I took that, I exported that out of the game files and put it in like a development directory that I'm utilizing. And then the reason for that is because the asset bundle extractor locks the file when it opens it. So if the file is locked, you can't overwrite the file in the other place without closing and opening the asset bundle extractor a million times, which you don't want to do. So I have a separate area where I'm doing all of my imports and exports, and then I copy them into the game file. And we're going to be constantly closing the last spell and opening it back up. But for the moment, let's now take a moment. I'm going to abandon this Glintfine run because my plan is to run an actual game as we're doing the modding. But just to give you like a little taste of some of the changes that we've already made and will continue to make. So this is a person with the longbow, right? Longbow is a pretty standard weapon. But if I click Arctic Blast, all of a sudden I have a new targeting reticule. We have essentially like a catapult with some missing dots in the middle. And we may change this, right? This is all just me testing and experimenting. But the idea here was, I was like, the longbow thrives off of isolating enemies. So why don't we make it so that it has an ability that isolates enemies, right? So now we can use this primary attack, Arctic Blast, which now hits in a larger area. And I can use that to hopefully, if we, fire this one off, generate a few isolated targets, right? We didn't get all of them. This guy didn't die. That's okay, Bray. We'll be going over it more. I also went ahead and increased the number of long shots that you have on the longbow, because I find that the longbow often falls behind other weapons, especially on early nights. And then I also took Snipe Shot and reduced it to 1 action, 1 mana, and 2 movement, thinking that it's a hard skill to use. That's a pretty simple example. If we wanted to go ahead and find that particular one, let's see, we're gonna go, here we go, here's long shot. So if we scroll down just a little bit to right here, I know the code is still somewhat small, but I wanted to be able to keep some of it in. We could also try expanding the code again, but things get wonky on the right hand side pretty quickly. But this is Explosive Arrow, aka Arctic Blast, was it's the name that was changed in the future. But you can see we do area effect abilities by generating essentially a 2x2 grid in which we specify the shape. maybe after this you'll be a slight wizard. So you go ahead and you modify the shape, right? So we can do any shape. Like the example that I had up over here, or potentially had up over here, is I've been playing around with Death Ray, and I made Death Ray have this kind of like big initial hit that kind of tapers down instead of what it was before. So, so we can do a lot of weird things with this, but the two things that you need to set when setting this up, yeah, indeed, Alex, we are actively making a mod for the last spell. I want to do a balance overhaul mod, and I thought it would be fun to share it on stream. So we're going to be doing that while we work through a run. But anyways, you can see that you specify the origin point, which is 2, 2, and you count from the bottom, 0, 1, 2, and then 0, 1, 2. So this center point is the origin point. And the way that that manifests in the game is that center one is where the cursor is. There you go, Kovacs. There you go. So yeah, so that's just one example. Another example of a slightly more exciting, right? So this is the Death Ray. I think the Death Ray is going to need to be toned down a smidge, but I thought it was fun. And I'm like, for 6 mana, usually you're not getting a lot of value out of it. Here you're getting a lot of value. But the perhaps more interesting change is this is night number 2, but I've modified Putrid Ball to attack in an X formation, but more importantly, it now gives contagion on the elements that are hit. Mildly suspicious Death Ray. Perhaps. I think we won't go full suspicious. We're not going to go for 2 spheres as the additional explosion. Thank you, Jason. But yeah, so I thought it would be interesting for a weapon to have contagion. Bray, you are geniuses think alike, I think. Looks like the ship from Austin Powers, exactly. We'll have to workshop that, or maybe we'll make it worse. Who knows? The sky is the limit. But yeah, so Putrid Ball now, if I go ahead and drop a Putrid Ball, you're going to see that in addition to hitting the targets, it's now also giving poison and a bit of contagion. So here's my thinking in Lustrous, and certainly we can roll back any of these changes, but at the moment, if a hero spawns without, like, so right now, I think Putrid Ball, right, especially since Putrid Ball now is only hitting 5 targets. So if you build a hero for poison, they're already going to have access to either contamination here at the 2nd level, which is not that hard to get to, or more likely, we don't have a poison hero here, they're going to have access to epidemic. So it's like, it's not a hard thing for people to get. And I will say that as far as poison weapons go, I think that the Magic Orb, sneeze. Excuse me. The Magic Orb is a pretty bad poison weapon. I think Dagger outscales it. I think that Druid Staff outscales it. But I think it's kind of interesting to have a... Hey, Spin My Head, welcome. It's kind of interesting to have a weapon that yields contagion without needing to invest in it. But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. And the reason that I chose the shape, the X shape, is because I was like, it's kind of interesting to have these 4 spots not get affected. But we know that if we put it into, I don't think I have a large enough cluster of enemies right now to use it, but we could then kill the corner mobs and spread the poison on the biases, which is kind of like a fun thing. I don't think it's super overpowered, honestly. It's not like our Austin Powers ship Death Ray. But, we've got those going on. And we'll go through more of these as we go. I've made a lot of changes. So with that being said, let's abandon this game because this was just my testing game. I think it makes the early game of Poison a little more interesting, Zeal. That's the idea that I was going for. I thought it would be interesting. All right, so let's see. So what I want to do is I think I want to do like a Lakeburg run. Now, in order to, man, the change in resolution is bizarre to me, I will say. Death ray cannons. So in order to kind of like be able to experiment with things, we're going to make some decisions that we wouldn't normally make. Like, I think we're going to grab Wanderer. We're also going to go into Boundless mode because I want to make sure that we have resources to be able to buy the stuff that we need to buy. I'll also pick up the extra hero. Like, this is not going to be the most challenging run we've ever done. No way, no how. I don't want to improve the base stats because I want to feel the way the game kind of like builds naturally. So the only other thing I think I'm going to grab here is Omen of Dexterity, right? So we're going to get more money. We're going to get cheaper stuff. We're going to get some extra reinforcements. We'll end up with 5 heroes to start. Hey, Marcus, welcome. But yeah, the idea will be we'll amp up the difficulty to, APOC 5 just so we got like something. We could mod the starting resources in Lustrous, but I don't want to. Right now, I want to focus on kind of like a mod concept, and I don't want to be changing a whole ton of things all over the place. I want to keep our changes kind of concentrated. But anyways, let's get into this run. We'll see what starting weapons we have. But yes, I could mod the starting resources. It would be, it would be a change, but we're going to have a lot as it is with the Boundless mode. A meat catapult, which is loaded from corpses. Yeah, I believe it is defined in the files. I haven't exported all of the files, but let's get on in and just see what happens with this. So, given that this is Lakeburg, we're going to start out just with the weapons that we have. This is going to be serious overkill, though, if I'm being honest, with 5 heroes. But it means that we've got, in fact, maybe if we want to get a good feel for the game, maybe we shouldn't do the extra heroes. We'll get to weapons when we get to weapons. Let's not do that because I do want to feel the game a little bit as we play through it. And I think that if we do that, it's not going to be ideal. Now, the good news is as we play through this game, we'll be able to make changes on the fly. Yeah, the costs are located in a different part of the game. But yes, we could hypothetically. So I'm going to get rid of Wanderer and reinforcements. I want the extra resources, and in fact, I'll take some more extra resources to balance it out. Cheaper items in the shop is good. Extra gold, extra materials in gold, extra supplies. All right. So that'll give us a nice starting set of resources. Oh, amazing, Marcus. I'm so glad you decided to join us. You've caught an interesting stream, to say the least. We're developing a mod. We've been testing it out. I did a bit of an intro at the beginning if you're at all curious about how modding works in this game. But it looks like we're going to get ourselves a druid staff, an axe, and a pistol to start. There haven't been too many changes to these weapons. The axe has seen some changes, definitely. Yes, I'm tweaking numbers and behaviors. Like, if you look on the right-hand side over here, I know it's a little small, but in order to get Arctic Blast, aka Explosive Arrow, to do enough damage to feel impactful, I did increase its damage multiplier. This might have been a bit overkill, but I wanted to feel the way that kind of played. Everyone should get a death ray or 2 in their lives. I generally agree with that. All right, so we'll start with these and then we'll get some more. So let's get on into the first night and just see what this is all about. So a few changes that we have made to talk about right off the cuff here. So first of all, and I think this is one of the more interesting changes that I've made. The two-handed axe, I've changed super spin. So super spin used to be a big circle, and I wanted to keep that identity because I like it. But the way that I changed it, it is the first melee multi-hit ability. So what that means is now if you want to get the circle, you can do it like that, right? But you can also concentrate your energy a bit more if you want to. So you could do something like that, and then we fire it off. We do each of the segments like that. I think it is interesting because it will never get that strong because it's not range modifiable, right? So you will never be able to hit more than the enemies you would have hit with a super spin, but you will be able to do a bit more. Now, the other thing is I wanted swing to feel a bit more like an arcing blow. So what I did with this for the time being, and these are all things we can tweak, of course, is I made it even more inaccurate. So now it is a 2x multiplier on the enemy's dodge, basically. But I made it so that rather than being a straight across line, it now juts back. And if you're like really in the thick of things, that means that you'll get an additional 2 enemies out of it. Right, so like here we could use it, but we'd have to walk all the way to the edge and then we'd be able to get it, and you can't actually attack out to the edge. So I thought those were some interesting changes. The pistol I regard as pretty much a well-designed skill, but I did switch Grape Shot Blast to be armor piercing rather than no dodge. I think no dodge feels very unimpactful from an armor perspective, from like an enemy perspective. Like, I don't think no dodge is doing much for us. So I decided to kind of leave it that way. And then over here on the Druid Staff, bees has remained the same. Acid Spray. Please add a chance for a double attack for swings. That's a really cool idea, Alex. I'm not entirely... We can do some experimentation. I have one idea for how we might be able to do it. We're a little limited on the changes we can make, and I'm not sure we can do percentage changes. Because there's another skill, Lightning Bolt, that I've wanted to add some randomness to beyond the propagation randomness, but I haven't been able to. So the only change we made over here is I added a minus block to Acid Spray, because I've always felt like Acid Spray was a little on the weak side. So now it reduces block, dodge, and armor. I don't think we'll be using that too terribly frequently. Oh yeah, absolutely. That seems like it is very likely to happen. All right, so that's the 3 weapons that we're rocking now. So we're just gonna do our darndest to clean things up here. I think I will do a little bit of corpse stratting, because I think we have the power. But yeah, I wanted to experiment with some more interesting options for like shapes of attacks and those types of things. So okay, so let's try this out. So now Acid Spray is going to be 2 turns of debuffing all these things. So this should make these enemies very squishy moving forward. And the hope is, from my perspective, is that we have sufficiently squished them up that there's a pretty good feeling to attacking them. But we'll see. So yeah, so now the axe really likes to get into the thick of things, right? So I'm gonna like jump here, and then we're gonna get some really big attacks here that we normally wouldn't have gotten, right? But it's a little tricky, I will admit. Like, it's a little tricky to get maximum value out of the axe now, which I sort of like. I think that's a good identity for the axe. Spray our acid all over them. Did you change the wave composition of Lakeberg, or did you leave them as is? This is unmodified. The wave composition at present is what it normally is. Yeah, have not modified the wave comp. Bats on the first night of Lakeberg is always a little bit annoying. All right. Hey, have a good one, Bray. It was nice of you to swing by and say hi. For sure. All right, so if we wanted to, we could try out our new super spin. All right, we can do something like that. We might have to tone down super spin. It's feeling perhaps a little too good. But like, I think this pattern here is sort of what we're looking for. See, this is like the ideal structure for the swing, which I think the swing has been nerfed a little bit. Trinket, which grants acid blood. We may modify some perks. We may modify some perks for sure. Let's see, I think. Oops, didn't mean to kill that dude, but we'll kill a few more, and then we'll let the conga line of zombies continue on in. But yeah, I still don't think that acid spray has enough identity. Like, I think this is great, right? Being able to remove the armor, dodge, and block of all of those heroes. But I'm not convinced that it's like where it needs to be that I would actually use it. Like, I'm using it for the novelty of the fact that, you know, we have it for the first time. Also kind of feeling like we may need to up the accuracy debuff again on the axe. It's feeling a little... Oh, so that guy died in one. That was pretty cool. Let's see. I have grape shot, but that would be a bad time. All right, we'll just do that. Super spin now hits diagonal squares twice if you cast it in all four directions. Exactly, Marcus. Which I think is kind of a fun... I think that's kind of a fun dynamic to be able to work with, right? You're getting a little extra damage out of the powers that be. You know, like I think there's something kind of interesting about the idea that you're getting a little extra value and you have a little more control, but you can still do kind of like the dramatic super spin, you know, that is the hallmark. That's from friendly fire. All right, so if we move over one, I think we get... I think the axe also is going to struggle a bit now with the potential of friendly fire issues. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling like the inaccuracy percentage needs to go up. Night 1 axe right now is feeling too good. But that's why we're playing through this. We'll make some tweaks after this night. But yeah, I think there's something super interesting about some of the changes we now have the capacity to make. And I'm also super glad we didn't. So let's see. We got a bunch of armored dudes here. What happens if we grape shot blast them now? So it looks like it's a guaranteed kill, which I don't think is innately bad, and it's not a kill on the claws, which I feel like that's good balance, right? I like the idea that grape shot blast is strong on those specific enemies. Can you check how much inaccuracy you have on the axe, like the actual percentage to hit? Yeah, let's take a look. So these guys, so we had nobody. Okay, so I think the reason that the axe has been feeling so good is we didn't have any dodgers for the inaccuracy to multiply, right? So inaccuracy doesn't reduce chance to hit. Well, it does say minus 20% accuracy, but I think it's still 100% hit because they have no dodge chance. Yeah, so yeah. I don't love the two-handed axe either, which is why I wanted to change it up a little bit, see what we could get out of it. Yeah, this up there was their accuracy, right, on the top, but to the left of swing, you see a dodge percent and a pierce resist and a pierce like a resistance percentage. And that would normally increase, but it only increases if they have dodge. So they need to have dodge for us to be able to get that. So yeah, so we'll see once we get some dodgers. We'll see how punishing 2x is. All right, we got some level ups. Life is good. Get the S rank. All right, so now we need to start talking about things, and let's get the shop open so we can like look at some of the other changes that we've made. So one of the changes that I am most excited about. So okay, there's a few here that I want to do some science on. So the Tome of Secrets, I've changed Lightning Bolt to hit in a plus shape. Yes, that's correct in Lustrous. Yeah. So basically you take your accuracy, you take their dodge, you subtract your accuracy from their dodge, and that's their remaining dodge percent. And if you have inaccurate, you multiply their dodge by 2 and then subtract your accuracy. I actually don't know the order of operations, so I shouldn't say that so with so much conviction. I don't know if the order is subtract accuracy then multiply by the inaccurate modifier or vice versa. But anyways, so Tome of Secrets, we need to do a bit of science with. We're definitely going to take this Tome of Secrets because I want to test out a few different changes. You multiply their dodge first. Good to know. Yeah, so we have the Tome of Secrets here, and it now hits in a plus shape. But the thing that I don't know, that I want to experiment with, is what happens with the propagation. You can see I made the propagation 2. My desire would be for each square to get a 2 propagation off of it. But I think what may happen is it may just do a propagation at the origin point of the attack. So we'll be changing that and tweaking that. The other change I made here is to Weakening Touch. I made it a 1 AP cost with a 3 propagate. So you're still getting the same amount of cost. Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out in Lustrous. The way range rep weapons can have 0 chance to miss at close range, but when you get higher, they apply it to the enemy dodge multiplier. Right. That is a perfect explanation, Zeal. So yeah, so Weakening Touch, I wanted to make it more flexible without reducing its power entirely. So the way that I did that was by making it a 3 propagate at a cost of 1 energy. Hey, thanks for hanging around, Alex. Catch you later. I'm going to grab the regular silver rifle. I'm not going to, well, maybe we'll get the nice silver rifle. That's fine. We talked about the magic orb before. I think I want to try out the magic orb as a complement to the druid staff to see how well the contagion play happens with that. I think that you have no arm. That's not cool. I picked up 2 two-handed weapons and I can't even use them. Not cool. By plus shape, I meant it hits in the plus shape for every propagate hit. Oh, I don't think it works that way. But what we're gonna do is I need to get this out there. All right, we're not gonna be able to use this. Well, I guess we'll use this here. That works. So let's switch over to the code for a second. And what I want to do is let's find our magic abilities and let's find Lightning Bolt. All right, so here's the definition for Lightning Strike. And the reason that I kept things a little longer is because it's easy not to be able to see. So what I'm going to do now, I had this idea, this concept for what I wanted to do with Lightning Strike originally that we're gonna tinker around with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the area effect for Lightning Strike a 5x5. This is clearly not balanced. We're not gonna keep it that way. But what I want to do is I want to get 4 lightning hits that are significantly spread out so that we can see where the propagate happens. So I'm going to put like an X here, an X here, an X here. This is so, like I want it to feel a little random. So we'll do that. And we're just going to see what the lightning bolt looks like when we cast it. You keep coming back to the same code. Why not document changes with comment lines? I don't think I understand. Yes, origin will become 2-2. Sorry, Illustrious, I'm not entirely sure what you are suggesting. Like, these changes seem quick enough that I'm not gonna, like, you know, like I could go ahead and do like a, you know, a comment for the old version of the area effect or something like that. But I don't know that we need to do that. But yeah, the origin will be at 2-2, which is not one of the places that we have one. I'm gonna set the propagate at 2 still, so we can go ahead and do that. Give this a save, and then I'm going over into Asset Bundle. I'm going to our magic items. I am importing data from file. I'm going into our mod, grabbing the magic weapons one, doing that. And then I am applying and saving all. Saving that there. Replace it. Now we're gonna have to exit. Unfortunately, with no modding support, I have no dev console, so we're gonna have to close and reopen the last spell from time to time. So I made a little gentleman with a hard hat to keep you all company. I hope it works like a charm. This file is opened by Asset Studio. Oh, I opened it there. All right, gotta close that down then. There we go. Like, you can comment out the old code, write your changed code. If you ever want to go back, you can delete your code. Yeah, so I'm doing something like that. You can't see it in Lustrous, so it may be not helpful. But the way that I actually go about this, you sure want to make this change? Yes. All right, there we go. Let me bring up. I wonder, can I bring up the entire? Let's see if I can. That's not going to work well. So the way that I should show this though. Let's see. Let me create a new window capture. There we go. All right, so this should show you my entire setup in VS Code, and I'll only keep this up briefly. But what I've been doing is if you look over here in the directory structure, I have the base files. So these are the unmodified files extracted from the game code over here on the left. And I do all of my editing in a diff panel between the original code and the old code. So the idea being that I want to be able to see the difference. And so when I'm editing the code, I can see that the original area effect was just an X, and then it was an origin of 0, 0, and then I have this version. Now, if we were making changes that I wanted to keep permanently, I could diff off of the version that I'm using, but I don't think for our purposes here that's necessary. So I thought it would be useful because this way you guys get a nice green highlight that explains that where we have made changes. No, you're good, Illustrious. I think that it might slow us down a little bit if we decided to like thoroughly comment all of the changes that we were making. But if there's anything particularly useful, I'll make sure to do it. But let's get the game back up. I have re-imported the asset bundle, so that means that Lightning should now have a new and weird thing. We can head back into this. Ranged attacks that don't hit their origin square are very interesting, actually. I wonder if there's a way to force attacks to be targeted on enemies. It's an interesting question. So let's, one of our heroes now has a book. Let's see if, all right, so this is Lightning Strike. We won't be able to test it until a little later, but I want to test it because I want to figure out if indeed it works the way that it's supposed to, right? So the goal here with Lightning Strike is I want those 4 dots in that tooltip to all spawn a 2 propagation. Excuse me. Oh, that sneeze was much needed. So we'll see if that happens. All right, a crash has been predicted. That would be par for the course. I'm not gonna complain. Let's see. Let's get a bit of skill range. on that. I'm not going to be too precious about level ups here. I think we're going to be okay. So let's see. We haven't really decided what our heroes are going to be. So we should probably do that. This looks like they could just be a poison hero. I want to have a poison hero. So I think they're actually going to get some... They're going to get the Druid Staff. We'll do that. And then Zena. Ooh. More poison shenanigans, potentially. We could also go momentum, but I haven't made too many changes to momentum. Yeah, Marcus, if it worked that way, I think it could be very strong. Either a crash or all 4 points have 8 propagation. I predict that the propagate is going to be at 0/0. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to make this hero's one-handed. Maybe we do make them a momentum hero, even though they don't have relentless. You bet $5. Woo. Big spender. Have to share your PayPal in we could do multi-hit. I haven't changed a lot of that. Let's okay, so let's see. So I'm going to move this over to here. Put the axe over here. Let's make this hero. I'm gonna say let's make this hero propagate. There we go. Because I'm trying, one of the goals here is I actively want to improve the power of propagate abilities. I think that they are a little lackluster, and I would like for propagation bounces and propagation damage to be a more sought after resource. Now I'm using a rifle here, so I should have taken that big movement increase. We'll take the action point here, but you'll see why in a second, and I'm kind of excited for why. We'll take the crit power, and I'll grab mana growth into magic fuel. And then over here, if you're going to be momentum, we'll grab that. Two propagation each is my hope. We'll grab some level ups there. All right. So we've got some gear. Now, here's another change that I've been working on in the background that will have some comic effect. We'll test this out. I'm going to put a couple of ballistas over here, and we'll upgrade them. So I have a vision. Oh yeah, and then we also want to build some houses. I haven't done any of my normal tearing down of stuff, but we got 2 mountains. Let's get some gear out of them. We're not trying to play optimally here. I did something to the ballistas. Oh, did I roll back my ballista change? I might have rolled back my ballista change. Hold on, let's go check. So there's a couple of interesting things, by the way. Going up to the top of this, the first item in the building skills page is test nuclear barricade. Things like this. Yeah, so stats and range all looked correct, which may mean that seasoned operators is somehow negatively impacting it, because I'll show you the change that I made down here. So I have set the damage on ballistas to 0 and given them a stun instead. So the idea that I'm going for as part of this is I think that defensive structures should... Nuclear barricade sounds right up my alley too in Lustrous. I think that defensive structures shouldn't be contributing damage. I think the heroes should be doing the killing. And I think that it's interesting to have a change that makes them less effective. So I'm seeing this, and this is really interesting because I think, did I miss one in the middle here? No, this is commented out. We'll see if the ballistas end up doing damage, because I tested this before and it was working. It's possible these changes aren't in the game file though. Maybe I reset it. But the idea that I wanted to go for, let's see if we can get this to update. And the way that we're gonna do that is yeah, let's head out and let's re-import this particular game file and see if the change takes place, because we're sciencing right now. There are certainly enemies that this is going to do nothing against, because I capped out the ballista power at 75% stun, which is certainly less. So this is going to be skill definitions buildings, and then we're going to go in here and we are going to import data from here. There we go. We're going to save and apply, save it to there, replace it. We're going to delete this file, copy this file from here. All right, let's fire up the game again. -3 movement and 1 AoE is better. We can potentially try that in Lustrous. I had the idea that I liked the idea of catapults being the snare mechanic. Like they have a big area and they slow things down like a tar bomb, was my thinking. There we go. All right, so we just applied this change. So they can't stun lock boomers and bulkies because I don't think they have a high enough stun percentage. I think they, at maximum upgrades, they will occasionally stun them, but not always. So we'll see the way that this plays out. But with those changes made, let's get our gear done. I just want to get some like supporting gear. Yeah, some isolation and crit feels pretty good. We're not going to be playing optimally here. So if you are if you're interested in optimal gameplay, you've come to the wrong place. But we'll try to do some interesting things. I did make some changes to the hammer. Specifically, I changed Stomp here to be range modifiable. The thinking there is that it just feels, the hammer feels way too hard to make it work. I was thinking of making catapult 90% stun instead. So flip-flop of what you said. Wow. So 90% stun means you can have like a bunch of bulkies and like do that. We might have to reduce the range if we do something like that, but we can definitely test it. No, so I think that's part of the advantage, Zeal, from my perspective. Just to throw it out there. At the moment, we haven't made any changes to the sledgehammer, but that's a really nice sledgehammer. The fact that we're no longer going to have a situation where ballistas stacking is super effective, I think is part of my vision. Whether that's a good change or not is something we're going to have to experiment with. But the thinking that I went for is, wouldn't it be interesting if putting a whole ton of ballistas in one place wasn't actually beneficial? So let's go ahead and give this a go. I mean, we might want to build a seer. Because I don't think, I mean, is this a corpse run? I guess we're doing a little bit of corpse strats, so I will... We built our ballistas in weird places for if we're going to do corpse strats, I will admit. But yeah, I think right now the game incentivizes... Yeah, okay, well, we have enough to... Let's get rid of these. So we'll do putting the ballistas back here, but the issue is going to be that the ballistas are going to struggle with the fact that they're all going to be stunning the same thing. So there's going to be a lot less value to be gleaned from that. But let's try this out. Let's get another night under our belts. I'm going to let them come in a little bit because the first thing we have to do. There's a mode Marcus for one-click demolishing. Okay, so there you see it. So this is what I love about this ballista design. You click demolish and then you click and hold. So you can see that we got one stun here and we missed the stun on this Clar, right? So this is not something that's going to reliably stun the entire battlefield. But the way that I designed it is it stuns for 2 turns, but with the way ballistas are synced up with the game, this guy only appears to have stun for 1 turn. The way that it was working before is they were stunned and then immediately unstunned, which I didn't want. So before, it just prevented them from attacking. Now it actually stuns them for 1 turn. But anyways, let's talk for a second about the rifle. Because the rifle, I think, has some really fun changes that I've made that I'm curious to get some feedback on. So this is not the rifle changes. Oh, hold on a second. We're missing our changes. Okay. So let's head back out. This is gonna be a bit of the what the stream is gonna look like. I know why we aren't. So they do have the Starwell stunned. Only one of them was stunned. But hold on a second here. I need to import all of the things. So we've imported the magical weapons. This is the melee weapons. Import melee weapons. This is the ranged weapons. Import ranged weapons. All right, now save all. So yeah, so it's easy with the asset bundle extractor to load something kind of from memory and not have all of your changes in. So there we go. We'll do that. Now we can fire it back up. And then now we'll have all of our changes. Both enemies have a stunned effect when you hover over them. Okay, I'll double check that when we get back in Lustrous. That seems incorrect to me. So if that's happening, that means that we broke something. We'll find out shortly. Also, what do you think of my construction grandpa? I'm pretty proud of it. So, no, you were right. They are both stunned. So something about multi-stunning may be breaking it. That's interesting. Wait, the rifle shot still isn't... Oh, yes, it is. Okay, cool. So now the rifle shot is properly modified. So check this out. So the rifle shot now costs 3 movement. So rather than being a 2 AP shot, no, I think you were absolutely right. Good spotting. So rather than costing 2 AP, now it costs 1 and 3. So that means that functionally, Anita here with only 7 movement, we'll pay attention to that as we play a bit more. So Anita with 7 movement can only do 2 rifle shots, even though she has a bunch of AP. And rifle shots still hit unsurprisingly hard, right? So we're going to be doing big numbers with them. But after she's done 2, she's depleted on resources. She has a second ability, though, Hip Shot, which now regens 1 movement. So what you can do as kind of like a play style is you can use some hip shots to get yourself back and then, you know, continue to shoot, so on and so forth, which I think is kind of a fun dynamic. I'm not sure the balance is totally nailed, but I like the idea of it. Now we have this. Okay, cool. So this works out perfectly. We can target this tile here. So let's move forward. And we can move this. And now what we want to see is we want to see if the propagates come off of the people or if the game crashes or what happens. Here we go. Okay, so that that looked like the propagate came off of each of the people, which is what I want. That's what I'm going for. That seemed like more than 2 propagate, though. So we'll need to tweak that. But I really like. I don't think it was 8 propagate for each. So we can, if we go back, right? Here, hold on 1 second, please. Give me a sec. Olive is crying, so we'll puzzle this out in just a moment. All right, so I just let Olive in. So we can go back and look. But so what I saw happen, right? Because when we targeted here, an enemy was here. It hit this enemy, and then it propagated to here and here. There was also one person who was here, and I think it propagated here. The bottom 3 triangle were fully... Yeah, these ones were isolated. And so... But so I'm a little surprised because if this guy was the guy that got hit, maybe this guy was the guy that got hit. Yeah, maybe we targeted this one. So this one over here, right? We hit one. Yeah, we'll just do it again. We'll do it again next turn to try and figure it out. But it looks like we're getting a 3 propagate. What we'll do next time is we'll intentionally target poorly so that we can see about things. I think 3 uses of weakening touch at this lesser level might be too much. We might need to reevaluate that. It was 8 propagate total, but 2 from each hit. So that was the way that I intentionally did the math that way. But we can... I'm open to thinking about how we can tweak that, right? The problem that I think this has right now is +1 propagate is technically +3 propagate on lightning, which means that the propagate's going to get a little insane. Potentially. So let's see if the stun bug happens again. Okay, so you got stunned. This guy did not get stunned. All right, let's try a lightning bolt. I want to do it just on one here. Let's do it just on this guy here, and we'll really be able to see it clearly. Illustrious. Thank you very much. That was absolutely not necessary, but as always, thank you for your generosity. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, so it may become too OP, Marcus, and we may have to figure out a way to limit that. But yeah, let's but like we could only have 3 impact zones as an example. Or, you know, we can tweak things like that. But let's try this out. I just want to see what this does. So we're only hitting this one target. Yeah, and we got 2 propagates off of it. Okay. So I love that behavior. Like, I think that's a really fun behavior. Now, over here, every time we move with the rifle, we're putting ourselves in a bad position, potentially. Oh, man, come on. Yeah, I think I need to get rid of Zaina. This is a little limiting. Having someone with only one arm when half of the weapons we're changing are 2-handers. It's hitting a lot harder. I think we have some pretty good stats on this hero. Plus 14 damage, and then I think we also have plus 13% magic damage. So it may just be the hero at this time. Let's do a regular, because I haven't changed the damage. 132 feels good. Yeah, the only things, if we go back over here to the code for a second and look at Lightning Strike, the only changes that I've made are visible now, which is we picked a random 3 locations, and we did this. But no, I didn't. I thought about it. I changed the damage on Arctic Blast, but that's all. Okay, we can let everybody come in again. What's your other weapon? Oh, we got rid of the orb. I don't know if I wanted to get rid of the orb. Yes, axe and accuracy on the runners is a great call. Let's do that with our next turn here. But I think there's something interesting, right? Like it's suddenly going to become very beneficial to put ballistas around so that they can, you know, kind of like mitigate a little bit of damage. But let's see. So, whoops. Actually, I guess this guy is as good as any. So, right now, I think we picked up accuracy on Maeve. We're at 30% accuracy. So, unfortunately, and they have no dodge. Here's a dodger, though. Okay, we got a dodger. Let's try the dodger. So, the dodger has has 18% dodge, which doubles to 36% dodge. Then we subtract the 32, which gives us the 4%. So that math works out, right? But maybe we need to go higher on the... I mean, it's hard to test when our hero has so much accuracy. Hey, Garen. It is. It's more accessible than I thought it was going to be. So I'm pretty jazzed. Let's I want to use a super spin just because that's one of my new favorite abilities. So we'll do that one. We'll do that one. We're not getting this guy right now, so we'll do one in that corner and then a second one over here. I think there's something fun about that super spin. I think the new super spin is like one of my better designs. And then these lightning bolts are so interesting. We might be able to figure out the tag to rotate them. Oh, maybe the runner's being stunned. Yeah, you're right. It's the stun that's doing it. So here's the thing about super spin in Lustrous, from my perspective. And yeah, it may be overtuned, but because it's not range modifiable, it's just, you can only basically hit the people that are in the super spin ratio. You just have a little bit more ability to target them. Is it possible to choose a layout for an attack, i.e. lightning bolt, at random or from a list of templates? I wish it was, Garen. So far that's not something that we've been able to do. That is probably going to require a code change to go with the XML change, but I really was thinking that would be super fun. Right? Have lightning bolt just be a circle and it hits like 3 random spots in that circle and does propagates off them. I think would be super fun. So I want to see how strong is this. It's pretty freaking strong. That's pretty strong. But yeah, so the idea with super spin on the axe is that if you put one attack in each of the cardinal directions, it basically mimics a super spin, but you can also do, like, if you wanted to do, you can do a frontal cone. You have some flexibility. And my perspective is if you pick up a bunch of multi-hit on a hero, super spin is still not going to be that much better because, like, super spin endgame was killing everything in the circle anyways, and you're not capable of hitting anything additional. Looks like a regular lightning strike to me. I can see that. I can see that. And then we also changed the primary attack on the axe to be this pattern here, which I think is a nerf to the axe. I think it's a lot harder with this configuration to actually hit more targets. Like, we're hitting the same number of targets we used to hit. The direction of defining 3 layouts and choosing one at random. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, to that end, Garen, I think that would you present that to the user? I guess is the question, right? If you had your druthers, would you... Good gracious, Olive is losing her freaking mind. Bad ordering here. Let's just bees over here, see what we can get done. All right, and then... Oh, we're out of movement, which is not great. Not the best. All right, but we did manage to stave off the panic. This guy's gonna be a problem, though. Yeah, we haven't seen all of the abilities yet. There's more. There's more to check out. But I'm liking the ones we're doing so far. I really want to get a longbow out. All right, so that stun saves us a little bit of panic, which is cool. Like, that's what I'm thinking of. That's my vision for ballistas, is that they're going to stave off some damage type of thing. The target for axe throwing on the one-handed axe, yes, it is. Although I changed axe boomerang as well. Let's find that. I can show you what that looks like. This is the new super spin with the multi-hit associated with it. I wanted Axe Boomerang to have a bit more wow factor, so I actually changed Axe Boomerang to look like this. We'll see it when we get an axe, but Axe Boomerang now is this very sort of weird arcing type of thing. Pattern Shirt, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. My poor girl Olive, the pupper of the stream. She's having a real tough time today. All right, so let's see. So I think we've seen most of the things. So this is an interesting one where, you know, like I'm trying to figure out how do you successfully utilize the axe? Like that's decent, but it's not easy. Like it is not trivial to. Hold on one second. It is not easy to. It's not easy for this new swing to get full utilization, but it's doing a lot of work. So it may need some attention in that regard. And then we've used up all of our movement, which I like that dynamic. I like the fact that you can kind of get into a situation where you're like, uh-oh, I'm out of movement and I haven't done all the things that I needed to do. Yeah, she's a bit of a sad girl at the moment. We can I might be able to bring her up on the on here for a second. Hold on, let me see if I can do that. Let's see. We'll get a little brief Olive cam going here. Actually, I don't know if I can do that easily. Can I do it this way? Maybe I can do it this way. I've disappeared, but hold on. It's in the name of science. If you ever wondered what my keyboard looks like. Uh-oh. It's still portrait mode. Olive. Sorry, my office is there she is right there. I think it's an interesting one. All right, she really wants to go visit her mom downstairs. But anyways, that's what's happening there. But she's a cutie. She's definitely a cutie. Uh-oh. Whoops. Oh my gosh. So many disasters going on. All right, there we go. We're back. Okay, so we're cleaning this up. We're hoping that once again the ballistas. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that one that we specifically saw there, but yeah, this is the thing about super spin, right? Like, yes, first of all, this isn't even killing all of them, but right, we can do something like this. Like that, and just like super spin, right? We're only getting like a little bit of something, but I don't know. It feels more engaging to me. Oh, and this is nice. See, if you're in a position like this, that's a pretty decent one. Like the axe feels fun. I think is the thing that I am feeling right now. I have not changed Hammer of Faith. So that's just the regular Hammer of Faith. Oh, my sweet girl. Poor Olive. I swear, she is the most spoiled dog in the history of the universe. Ooh. Oh, I did also change Assassinate. I didn't change the damage, but I did make it the longest range attack in the game. So I put its range up to 15 because I thought, like, that's kind of a cool class identity for it. House tour? Yeah. Not much to see, but we could do one. More like apartment tour, but... you can kill one enemy and then jump into a mass of enemies and boom, axe to the face. Yeah, it's like I think it fills the same role that Super Spin did in that regard. Like, I don't think it's a new one. Ooh, hey, Illustrious, I like that idea a lot. That's kind of a funky one. So we did change Grape Shot to be anti-armor, but none of these enemies have armor. So the value of anti-armor only sometimes materializes. But yeah, I like the idea of it having an L shape. Let's switch that up right now and then try it out. Where, oh, where? I think it's this one here. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just change that to this. So now there's no overlap. That's super funky. What about... So here's an interesting question. Do we think that we could... do we think... Sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. So I need to find the skill template for Rain of Arrows. Okay, so here's Rain of Arrows. So it has modifiable true, and it has a range of 3 to 8 with an origin of 2, 2. The thing that I'm looking for here in the Rain of Arrows definition is... Oh, thank you, Zeal. There is a... Oh, did I call the channel Doggos? That's truly tragic if I was so exclusionary. But thank you for sharing. I love pets shared in stream. So I think that I'm wondering if there's a way where the rotation capability comes in. Because I like the idea of having this and you being able to choose if it's left or right. All right, we will after stream fix that. Oh, VMAX Ultima, thank you so much for the $5 as well. Very kind of you. Super appreciate it. That is really, really wonderful. I super appreciate you supporting the channel. All right, so let's just change it to be this L shape. We'll save this. We're going to exit out of the game, and we're going to try out this idea. Because I like the idea of making the super spin not have the overlaps. I've been missing it for a while, VMAX, so I'm super, it's been getting a little stale, and I'm excited to breathe some more life into it. So we have this idea for an overhaul mod. We've been working on it in the Discord, by the way. If anyone is not a member of the Discord, I'll link it here and link it in Twitch chat. And I see you over here, Garen, wherever you want to be. But yeah, I'll link the Discord just because there's useful things there. So I'm going in right now. I'm finding the melee weapons, and I am importing data from file, the melee weapons, save and apply to all, overwrite, delete that, copy that. There we go. Change it. All right, and let's fire it back up with this new change that Illustrious suggested. He looks very trustworthy. He is indeed. He is indeed. Oh, man. Our chat integration did briefly break. Hold on a second. I'm fixing it as we speak. There we go. Should be studio mode. Chat. That. Refresh. There we go. Should be back now. Apologies for the breakage. Sometimes people giving me money breaks things. So truly a bug that I should fix when we're talking about doing software development. But I think we're back up and running. Text chat should be back online. Hi, sweet girl. Talking to the pupper. All right, so let's see about this new super spin. So the thing that I wanted to know, like if we... Wait, what, can I really not jump to here? Is my skill range that low? I guess it is. All right, so now if we do super spin, we can do that, and that, and we get exactly the same coverage as before, right? But we can also, what I wanted to see is, can we rotate it? No, it doesn't look like we can rotate it. Yeah, first world problems indeed. I still like the idea of this, right? So if we want to get this person, we got to do that. But we can do... I think that's fun. I actually dig that. Yeah, I think the L shape is a very smart way to handle things. And then we get our stun off from our catapults. Bingo bango. Yeah, so everything is up for discussion and up for change. We scienced lightning bolt, which I'm super thrilled by. Let's see. Let me see if I can just really... I'm giving the pupper some pets. Hi, baby. I know. I gave her some pets, and now she's like, I am going to drag you off of your computer, which was not the intention, but she's gonna do what she's gonna do. All right, so let's see. So I want to get a one-handed axe so we can take a look at that. The place where I really wanted to put contagion is on the hand crossbow, but that is a bridge too far, I reckon. Oh, pupper. Oh, pupper, I know. I know, baby. Hold on, maybe we do need to, let's see. Let me see. If I go to, like, here. Ooh, owie. Give me one moment here. She's getting a little mouthy. Are you seeing this mad dog in the background here? Let's see if I can get her. Yeah, hello. I know. She is just beside herself. Okay, hold on. I got a few things to get to. Let's see. So let's see. Question. If I recall correctly, some skills get different effects as they level up. The action transfers from one. Yes. We can have different skills altogether. We can change them radically if we want to. I'm super excited too, Pattern Shirt. Thank you. Possible to write a case list for the lightning targeting where it rolls a number. Right now, we don't have any ability to execute code. That's something that I may figure out as we kind of continue to do these streams. It can't be, I don't think it can be codified right now in the XML. So for context, this is her favorite game, is try to stay in Dad's office while he is trying to do work. And right now she's winning. But yeah, we would have to add a bit of code that we could kind of like execute, which I think we can do. Like, I think ultimately there's a code block for like contagion as an example that we could mimic. but we'd have to find it. All right, I'm going to have to actually evict her, so give me a moment here. I will be right back. The dog is winning. I mean, propagate is a good example. Of a, you know, like the walk that it does is random. So there certainly exists the capability to do something like that. But let's get back into this. Oh, okay. I want to get some different weapons into the mix now so we can try out some more. I'm very excited to see a longbow, if we can't thing. Yeah, it's not defined in the randomness is most certainly not defined in the XML, but the XML can reference bits of code, right? So most of the tags in the XML map to a piece of code. Ooh, spear will be a fun one. We have not seen a spear yet. I made some changes to spear. Ooh, extra propagation bounce. Try that out with the with lightning just to see how broken it gets, how quickly. I think the answer is very broken. Power staff has some new stuff that we need to take a gander at. Hand crossbow I didn't really change. I really want a longbow. I also didn't really change steel crossbow, but that's not for not wanting to. I want to change the crossbow. We just haven't. All right, there's our longbow. We took a look at that previously. A regular axe is a good thing to have. Well, yeah. So we have another tool at our disposal. Why don't we? Do we want to get a little avant-garde? We can do that. Hold on a second here. There is one more tool that I've been using in the toolbox. Oopsie daisies. 1 second. Olive has been temporarily evicted. I figured out an interaction that you don't use / don't know about that explains why we have such different opinions on epidemic. Ooh, tell me more, Pattern, because I think since my perks tier list, I've come around to epidemic as an excellent perk for use with the hand crossbow and daggers. I think it is exceptionally good for them. It's just bad with bees, and bees was the primary place where I got poison. For lightning, maybe split it into 2 strong bolts that don't propagate and 1 to 2 weaker secondary bolts that propagate. Ooh, I love that idea, Garen. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. So we have the ability to do this, but this is going to be our biggest change to date. So let's see. What we want to do is, this is the ballista one. Okay, this is the magical one. Okay, so the example that we want to use to make the change is putrid ball. No. This is why we're here. So see that we have the ability to have a surrounding effect that is defined by the E's and a primary effect that is defined by the X's. So if we grab the code block for surrounding effect, just gonna copy this. Then we need to go find lightning bolt, which is, you know, easier said than done. I think it's this one here. Yeah, so what we should do is, so I still want to have multiple points of propagation. I still think that epidemic is just bad, as it prevents using contagion to spread poison in a way to create stuns with septic shock. So it doesn't do that with the dagger pattern, right? If you put 2 dagger hits into the same enemy, you get a stun on it and a contagion. And then if you kill it, that contagion spreads the stun. So to me, it's like, that's like the best of all worlds. Let's see. So let's come back up here. I want to see. So this is part of the attack block. Or no, this is a child of skill effect. Okay. So we come down here, and in skill effect, we're going to add a surrounding effect. Obviously, it won't be poison and contagion, but so what I'm going to do is because I think having the places where it lands, I think should be semi well defined. So I'll try something like that. So, you know, the real bread and butter meat and potatoes thing is going to be that there. And then these are not going to have... I need a good example. Oh, I think the ballistas have a good example of a surrounding effect that is a damage multiplier. So we can just do this. We can just do this damage multiplier. And we can do this. And we'll just do that. And we'll say, let's do like a 0.5. Make the E propagate 0, so you need to invest in it. That would make it very strong still. So you think that the E's should have a propagate associated with them? I guess, if we do this, it's lower damage. So we'll do this, say propagate 0. Then I think I put too many E's if that's the case. So let's do, hold on. I'm gonna make this grid sans E's for a second, because I want to think about this. So we're gonna have 2 X's. But maybe I want to make this even bigger. So this is going to be a very large area of effect. The origin will be at 3, 3. But I think these X's now will be out a bit further. And then maybe we put like an E here. And an E here. Maybe something like that. Instead of 50, try it. Set it to 50 instead of 75. That's what we have it set at now, right? So by default, the base strikes are going to have 2 propagates. And then the baby strikes are going to have 0 propagates, and they're going to do half as much damage. But maybe we do like an E here, an E here, and an E here. This is kind of a weird pattern, but it's kind of interesting. Something like that, maybe? The propagation fall off. So, how about you do a lightning strike target as a fireball with a strong central attack and 8 surrounding attacks? Yeah, so what I found is that it feels a lot more satisfying to have this propagate attack where the individual segments are less overlapping, because that's what I originally had. I originally had it in the fireball T shape, and that didn't play super well. I want to just try this out, and I want to see. I think putting the damage multiplier here is going to innately have the propagation damage multiplier be reduced, but I kind of want to test it out. So let's try this. And then was there another change that we were talking about? I'm trying to think what else we're gonna potentially be using. So I wanna bring out the power staff. I can show you guys what that's like. We'll give this to our book user to see if the propagate increase actually works. I want someone. We'll retire the axe for the moment. We've workshopped the axe a decent amount. We'll come back to it for sure. I'm gonna swap this in for here because I want to play a bit more with the contagion. I think it's a good setup, but I mean, I guess we have like this and this. And sorry, I feel like I got distracted patterned. But I don't know. I think there's real value to Epidemic and to Epidemic's approach. I think to capture the randomness of the lightning, maybe the E. Okay, so yeah, so let's shift around the E's a little bit. So let's maybe do like an E over here, and then let's make this E off center, and then we'll put maybe an E here, and then an E here, and an E here. That looks pretty random, right? All right, you got it patterned. We'll see you back here in a minute, hopefully. Okay, yeah, let's try this. This is a good test for us. Let's see. Back to. I feel like there's 73 things that I am juggling right now. We'll grab some poison. We're converting our momentum hero over to poison, but I don't think it's gonna ruin us, but we'll see. Probably should have kept another reroll there. Mave. Let's just get you some damage, Mave. We're good on accuracy because dexterity is carrying the day, and then not sure those are the things that we need, but that's okay. Grab that. We'll grab some first strike. I do want to change spiky counter. Do we want to try out spiky counter shenanigans? There's a temptation. I have a vision for spiky counter. But we'll take it so that we have it available later in the game. E, 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 E. Okay, so you were thinking kind of go symmetrical. And I think Garanthor was thinking a different one. I think we're gonna tweak it, but let's I want to try it with this like randomness, and I just want to see what it feels like. E. Yeah, that's pretty much. I gave someone the one-handed axe, right? No, I didn't. I bought a one-handed axe, didn't I? Yes, I did. I want the lightning. We saw the rifle. I'll swap the rifle for the power staff for now. Get that going there. All right. Clearly we're not playing optimally. Do I feel like Xayna's not the person to solo. I feel like Maeve can solo just with lightning bolts. Maybe we'll do that. Do you feel like the symmetrical lightning bolts? Yeah, we're going to try out both. We're going to try out both. But there's something interesting about like lightning being this like force of nature that you kind of like, you know, you summon down and it just like lands in a circle and explodes things. So I'm interested in seeing how this feels, but we're gonna try both for sure. Let's see, melee skills. I don't think we changed any melee skills. We definitely need to import the new magic weapons. There we go. Export and save. My kingdom for mod support that adds a dev console so that I can refresh these more easily, I will say. But there we go. Let's fire it back up. Yeah, I think right now the ballistas seem like extremely terrible. But I think that the comparison is with like is with something that I think was way overpowered. So I'm not sure how to interpret that. Yes, you need to, Zeal. It does not refresh the game files except on actual load. I have tested that because it's annoying, and I wish that it wasn't that way, but it definitely is. Yeah, I mean, what I would love to have is I'd love to have the ability to, you know, like push a button and have it reload the shared asset files, but that is not a thing that exists, unfortunately. All right, so let's see. We'll build. So, you know, so I do want to see what happens with like. Oh wow, we really didn't have much in the way of materials. I guess that makes sense. All right, and then are we gonna get these out of the way? Now we have a very peculiar spear type of thing going on, but I think you're probably right, Marcus. This is the beauty of what we were doing, is that let's just take a look at it. Oh, see, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool the way that looks. I don't know. Right? So we're going to get like, there's something about making this really unwieldy that feels weirdly great. Also, in the potentially controversial space, triple swipe I changed to be actually a triple swipe. But yeah, I think we need to lessen the number. But there was something fun about trying the scattershot approach. But yeah, so triple swipe now has 3 distinct things. I have found that this is a huge nerf to triple swipe. I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I think triple swipe is very strong. But and also I changed impale to be a T shape rather than a long shot. But these are, you know, these are things that we can just roll back. That's something else. It's terrible. You know, I mean, we're trying. We're trying. But I don't know. I'm weakening curse. I really like the ability to weakening curse several times with a smaller value, but we'll see. That may prove overpowered. But check out this this Millennium Falcon. Tome having no extra opportunism is a nice change from other debuffing attacks. And if an enemy has minus 50% resist, you don't really need opportunism. It's totally true. So like right now, if we come back to this, right? Uh-oh. Ooh, look at this. We broke something. Because it doesn't know how to render the tooltip for this. This skill effect, it is not happy with. We'll see if it works or if it crashes the game. That'll be the next thing. But so I changed Fire Thrower. I think this is a really interesting pattern that I haven't seen them use in the game. So this is it may be a 3 AP move. I think you might be right in Lustrous, but I liked the idea of Flamethrower, right? This is the same number of hits that it did before. It's just reallocated to be, I'm referring to this as like Flame Vortex or something like that, but the idea is that it is fixed at position 2 away. So there's only 4 places you can cast it. No, the other ones do. Like I can't cast Firebolt, but I get a tooltip for it, right? There's something about the current configuration of Lightning Bolt that I think is potentially game-crashingly busted, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so Axe Boomerang, it hits quite hard, and it hits a very awkward area. I think it still matches with the animation, but... And then that was the only change I made here, was adding Fire Thrower. I think at 5, this is a more interesting design. It does cannibalize Scorching Wave slightly. But I think it is interesting. All right, and this will be a great opportunity for us. No stuns. Oh, so there was Spiky Counter popping off. Why did that hit for 117? I don't know. All right, let's try Lightning Bolt, see if our game crashes. God, it's so awkward to try and find a good place to land a Lightning Bolt. There's something to be said. Like, right, because you want to hit these two. I don't know. Maybe... Like, we could do this. Let's try this, okay? So we should get 1 good propagate off of the guy in the lower left. Then we should get 2 propagates on that back rank. Let's try it out. It's hard to see what happened, but I actually think it did what we expected it to do. We're gonna have to figure out why the tooltip is missing. But I do think that it hit the right people. These down here, this group took very little damage because they only had 2 of the ancillary bolts landing, I think. But I don't know. Yeah, it looked like it worked correctly. Which is, about all that we can ask for. At some point, we're going to have to talk about Death Ray. First rule of Death Ray Fight Club is don't talk about Death Ray Fight Club, though, I think. But so this character has Propagate 1, incidentally, I believe. I put the Brute Greaves on them, so they should have 1 extra Propagate bounce. So I was kind of thinking, I think it only hit these 2. I think the Propagate did not... Maybe Propagate 1 is the minimum you can have on a tooltip. So I think Propagate 1 changes a lot of things, though, if that's what we end up going for. So like here, the ballista saved us a little bit of damage there and stopped these 2 guys in their tracks. That may be enough, but let's go back and take a look here. Okay, so we have a damage multiplier of 0.5. Let's try getting rid of this for now, because I don't know that that's working. Let's set the propagations to 1 here. And let's just reload and see if we can get a tooltip with this setup. This is the trial and error. Maybe surrounding effects can't propagate. It's possible. But I was thrilled that we could do contaminate. There's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out, Scorpion. I had not seen that. What's the idea? Let's import the data for magic weapons. I've already made the changes, so we can just do that. Save all. Export, do that. Delete that. Is it a sequel to the new Ghostbusters cast? There we go. I have updated it. So we'll see. The damage modifier might have been the funky bit. We'll see. Yeah, if there was an easy way to get this to reload on the fly, this stream would be significantly easier. But who needs easy, right? All right. Do we got a tooltip? No tooltip still. So actually, you notice check out the secondary effect here. It's not actually even putting a preview of damage on it. So there's something about secondary effects we don't understand yet. So let's take a break. Let's find another ability that has two. Yeah, like Stomp is a good example, right? Stomp has a surrounding effect in which it has a damage multiplier. So we already had, so you're saying because we took it out, was it showing that before? I don't remember. So under skill effect, hold on, I want to go back and look at this. So underneath, so this one, yeah, so underneath skill effect, we have surrounding effect. Oh, it did show before? Okay. All right, then let's just try reversing that one change. So we're going to have a damage multiplier of 0.5. I'm going to leave this at propagation count 1 because I want to see if it actually does anything. All right, let's load that in and we'll see. Import magic weapons. Save all, save yes. I think also change the area of effect of the attack. This might be causing the issue. What about the area effect of the attack? Are we 0, 1, 2? The origin is weird right now. We want an origin of 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh. So we have a non-square setup right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Ah. Which might be okay, but it definitely means that 0, 1, 2, the Y origin should be 2. I think it can be displayed in the tooltip, but like, because we have, I mean, like, as an example, if I find the comical exception, like Death Ray looks like this and it displays fine in the tooltip. So, you know, it is possible. So I don't think square is important because Death Ray is definitely, oh man, my cursor is moving around. I'm in VS Code, but it still has my cursor captured. So I don't think square is super important because also we know that the fire thrower is working. Let's just see if the damage multiplier and then maybe propagate 0 might have been causing the issue. So we'll try this. There we go. All right. Shouldn't have been making those changes while we were in game, but Yeah, I'm very impressed. I feel like the design of the game is very, very mod friendly. Like, it would not take much for them to be like, here's a directory. If you put a named XML file in there, we'll use yours rather than ours. And then we'd just be done, right? Like, this would be the easiest process ever then. All right, let's just see. First of all, so yes, okay. So now it is definitely hitting. So we'll do this one because we'll get a good look at both the primary and the secondary. Secondary did no propagates. Primary definitely did propagates. Let me take a look. Okay, so you're saying line 753. So propagation count, this is for the skill effect, right? This is the normal way that you do it. I mean, so here, let me find another example, right? Let's find weakening touch. See, so weakening touch, you have the skill action, which has a generic, which has a skill effect, which has the propagation for the skill action, right? So that needs to stay, I'm pretty sure, right? Because that's saying that the primary attack has a propagation count associated with it, right? And then what I'm saying is for the surrounding effect, I'm trying to give it also a propagation skill effect, I think. Let me look at that one more time. Where was it? Is it this one? This one? Yeah, it's this one. It might not be possible, but if that's the case, we'll have to go back to the drawing board. But I want to take a look at this again. So, skill action, generic, skill effect, propagation. Yeah, it might not be possible. That's why we're tweaking with it. Overall damage, malice effect. That's interesting. Okay, so I bet overall damage is total damage. That's not the important part of things. It might also be that the game is erroring because we don't have a propagate VFX element. That's a possibility. But yeah, if that's the case, then I think we have to stick with... I think we could go with 3. 3 standard lightning bolts that impact in like a weird non-equilateral triangle. Oh, is the tooltip still bugged? Yes. Yeah, so I think maybe secondary effects and that are bugged. So let's... Is surrounding effect the wrong nomenclature? Where's putrid ball when you need it? So it's a skill effect and then a surrounding effect. And the surrounding effect is nested directly under the skill effect. Skill effect with the surrounding effect nested right below it. Okay, so that looks correct. Yeah, so we'll have to put a pin in this. I love the idea of this. We could make these not propagate too, right? We could have a bunch of minor ones that just do some ancillary damage. But the idea, I kind of like the idea of going back to sort of first principles on this one. We'll ditch the surrounding effect. I think we leave it at propagate 2, but now we create like a weird triangle pattern. Now, we said before this isn't square at the moment. So let's square it off just so we can see. How about we make the lightning strike a 3x3 attack with propagation coming from the main attack like this. So it would be, so you're saying a diamond in the center with more non-propagating hits around it. Let's try it out. I'm down. Okay, so now the origin is going to be at 3, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. This is our center point where we're going to have an E. So you're saying do X, 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 X. And that's just going to be a... Oh, we need to bring back the surrounding one then. We need the surrounding effect now. There we go. And we're going to need a damage multiplier. Oh, wait. Oh, you wanted ease on the corner. Like this. That way the E's are forcing the propagates to be like choo, 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 choo. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Although it's possible that this is going to work slightly differently, but we will let's figure that out through science. And are we amping this up since these are non-propagating? Like maybe do like 1.25? Sure, let's try that. All right, let's see. So let's import. You will learn quickly enough that like right now at this phase in the game, I don't mind making things overly powerful. We don't have to get it right the first time. We just need to come up with interesting things. Hello? Okay, copy that here. But yeah, the fact that I can edit these mod files while the game is still open tells you everything you need to know about the fact that they're just loading it into RAM when the game first launches, and without some type of like dev console, we're not going to have it. You had it on the first version with the 4x hits with the right propagation. So you're saying you didn't want the corner ease? We'll try this and then we can always swap it up. Okay, I've already replaced the game file, so we can just head back in. So I don't know about anyone else. I'm having a lot of fun with this stream. I hope that others are enjoying it. No, he meant like it worked 1 hour ago. So let's see. So let's check this out. So now, okay, now we have the pattern. Oh, we already used our lightning strike for this turn. I think the middle one shouldn't be... no, actually, maybe that works. It worked when you had 4 hits of lightning strike. The propagate worked. Yeah. No, I know it worked. Sorry, I'm getting confused now. I'm losing the thread. Probably gonna need to work on this one. Might be a little good. might be slightly good. Might need to work on that one. We should start thinking about what a good death ray looks like. This is essentially the same as you had the first time, but with added secondary hits. Yes, with that, yes, it has added secondary hits, but hopefully those secondary hits are going to help to funnel the lightning bolts outward, because the issue that I had before was it was very hard to see if they worked. These secondary hits do not propagate, no, Azil. So we've removed propagation from the secondary hits. We may not have a big enough mass of enemies right now to actually be able to see this work in action. Part of me that's like, for 6 mana, that feels pretty good if this is all it does, and hopefully it kills this guy up here too. We can test it. Oh, maybe that's why. Hold on. Does the tooltip... I think the propagate would be blue if it worked that way. I think it doesn't. I think the propagate would show up as blue. I like that the tooltip works though. That's you know, no small miracle. So the idea here of Putrid Ball is that it's not giving you a lot of poison, but you can kind of get access to an early contaminate, which I think it's a neat dynamic. Because I don't think that's overpowered, but maybe it can be convinced to be overpowered. But I think by the time you'd have enough skills for it to start to get really insane, you'd have the perks anyways, so it wouldn't be so transformative. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, Zakar. Yes, that someone figured out mods, and their name is me. Yeah, I watched some tutorials for generic Unity modding, and it wasn't too crazy, but yeah, we got some weird skills now that we're experimenting with. Death Ray definitely feels like we need to figure out a better way for it to manifest. It's a little too everything on a side dies at the moment. All right, let's try another lightning bolt. So I'm gonna try it. So here's the thing, I want to try it here. And the thing that I want to test... Actually, wait. So, yeah. So this... I want to see if this lightning bolt on the bottom paths down and to the right. Yeah, I have no idea. So, AoE abilities in Lustrous don't hit bosses multiple times, I don't think. So, that may not work. But my hope is... Okay, so if this is working correctly... Let's map this out. If this is working correctly, we're going to get a lightning strike on this guy and a lightning strike on this guy. This one should be forced to come up this way, and this one should be forced to go down this way. Let's see if it actually does that. All right, so we're going to put it here. Nope. See, so the secondary attacks do not force the propagate. Also, the fact that Anita lived is... no small divine intervention. I love the shape of Fire Thrower now. I think it's so interesting. Should have procced Opportunism before I went any further on that. But yeah, so the propagate is not headed off by the ancillary lightning strikes, is what we just learned there. Which is okay. I want to make... So my goal is not complete perfect balance. I think the game is very well balanced. I think people that enjoy the game, I'm not throwing shade their way. I, though, think that some of the skills are really boring. And that's the thing that I would like to fix, is I would like to make them more interesting. I'm also... You'll notice the other thing that I've changed here is ballistas now do no damage and stun. So I'm experimenting with ways to make defenses not feel so like, oh, 80% of my team's damage comes from ballistas, as an example. So that's another thing we are experimenting with. It does seem that way in Lustrous. Yeah, that's my... That makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's a fun ability. It's not hitting any more enemies, but it's hitting enemies in a way that no other skill does. I think that like little like dome shape is very cool. We could swap the primary and the secondary effect to test it. So the top propagate went downwards in the same direction, but was stopped by the enemy's depletion. I think so, yeah. Oh, wait, someone had a recommendation for the ray. Make the primary line 100% and the sides 50%. Ooh, Garen, I like that idea. Let's try that out. Because now we know how to do this, right? Let's grab our surrounding effect. Head up to the death ray. And then maybe we go E, 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 E. And then here. The surrounding effect does not get... It gets seated under something different. It gets seated under skill effects. Not seated. Like the place that it lives is. There we go. So yeah, so we'll try that, and then we'll make this 50%? 0.5. If I make it 50, it's gonna hit real hard. Okay, so yeah, so we'll change the death ray up to look like that. I think that's an interesting idea. Oh, maybe we... Thank you. This is... Can every time I code, can we just all hang out? Because you're saving me so many like minor mistakes. Make the death ray 3 wide with the edge rows secondary. Oh, so do like a this type of thing? That's kind of an interesting idea. I love it, Garen Thor, honestly. Pair programming. We're doing the multi-person version of pair programming. This is like no stress for me. I just have, 20 people staring over my shoulder every time I make a minor edit type of thing. The secondary doesn't propagate zeal. I think we've already validated that it doesn't, that only the primaries were propagating. We don't know how to do propagate. Now, if we're going to do this, and these are going to be half damage, is there a fun thing that we could put on as an effect there? You're a tech lead in my heart, Illustrious. You're a tech lead in my heart. Maybe we could add a skill effect here. That might be too much. Maybe we're just doing enough damage. We'll try this out. Now, let's see. Do we change anything with lightning? We haven't changed anything with lightning at the moment. It just kind of is what it is. Given that we're not like essentially blast shaping with the ease, I kind of want to try... I kind of want to go back to this idea that I had to experiment with, because I also think 4 strikes might be too many. So what if we do, like, this is our center point. So what if we do like an X, an X, and an X? So something, maybe even an X here. So something that's like very oddly shaped. It's hard to get all 3 landing appropriately, but the benefit being, I think we would even go 3 propagation counts, is that if you get this, the scale up on it is bananas. I think there's something interesting here. Let's just we'll bring that in and we'll test it out. You just have to let this guy come in. Okay, let's yeah, I don't know what would happen if we left the surrounding effects, and we might bring them back. So I will acquiesce to adding a little bit of a comment there. Yeah, we'll do that. Cool. All right, and then we need to exit out. Now, what else do we change? We changed Death Ray, and we changed Death Ray to not be the ship from Austin Powers anymore, which I'm sad about. There is always the option, right? It's not too late. We could go with like 2 large circles here and here of ease. But we won't. We won't. All right, we'll get those. Let's get the we only changed magic weapons, I think, here. Oh, okay, wait, actually, before we go any further, so I had one other idea for Deathray. We'll leave Grandpa out. I had the idea in the, hold on, if I bring up, where's my Firefox? Man, I have so many windows. In the original version that I set up, I think I listed Deathray. Where is Deathray? Over here. Oh yeah, taper down from 5. At one point, I had this listed as a zigzag. So the other thing we could do, if we wanted to, if there's a way to change the base propagation damage of a skill, I'm not sure. One thing that we could do is we could have, like, the concept that I was going for with this, just to throw this out. At one point I had it set up something like this, but I wasn't using secondaries because I hadn't learned yet, is I think that's only defined by the character. We could do something like this for the idea of like the ray snake, there being like a secondary thing that like snaked in a spiral pattern down the length of it. Yes, I believe propagation is hard-coded at 85, modifiable by character values. But yeah, so I had this idea of like having this like secondary spiraling thing going down, because it almost looks like that's the case. I did mess this up with my setup, but for now, let's leave it as the full thing. But I wanted to get some feedback on what people think of maybe having it zigzag down. So I've already made some changes to the rifle. I'll show them to you in the next night. Let's leave this way. Let's package it up. Hide my browser. Save that. Yes to that. Delete you. Copy you. Exactly, Illustrious. I think it's going to look really good with the sprite, because the sprite is kind of like this like single straight line with like a thing kind of spiraling around it, I feel like. But let's get that up and running. We can always try both and see what we like, right? This is the beauty of what we were doing. But yeah, that was what I was thinking in Lustrous, is having it kind of alternate ease on either side type of thing. Could be really neat. All right, and we'll kill some time here. I'm just gonna run up like this and force this guy hopefully backwards, and then we can take a look at what the death ray looks like. All right, so the new death ray. That's a chunky boy. Now so at the moment, oh wait, this is interesting. So at the moment, the base damage is 152 to 186, but the secondary damage is only 38 to 46 girth. Zeal, very nice. That is not. I wanted this to be half. I think it's because the 50% is happening, that the halving is happening and then our stats are being added, so the scale factor is like way worse on the external pieces. So I think we need it to hit. We need the external pieces to hit harder. Didn't I set it to 25%? Please hold. Nope, it's set to 50%. 0.5 is the damage multiplier. I know it's really small, so I don't blame you. To balance the rate, maybe take away the modifiable with skill range, so you need to go to the enemy. Yep, we could definitely do that. We could ditch modifiable by range. Yeah, the damage multiplier is 2x on the base. Oh, yeah, you're right. And this one is 0.5. I assume that it was 0.5 off of this. So we make this 1.0 and then it will be half. Aha. Okay. Now I want to see what this other version looks like. So we're gonna test out the spiral and see what we like. Because with the spiral, I think we could. I think I want it to bloom at the end, but I think with that we could do like 1.5. Let's try that. Okay. Let's back out we go. I think there's something interesting here. Oh, and maybe get rid of that one. Oh, actually, hold on. I have this idea. We'll see it in game in a second. They have different syntaxes for damage multipliers. They do, yeah, and they appear not to be connected. And there's some type of weirdness, but yeah, this is the way that they did it elsewhere. There's a lot of this process that is just, if I can't find a sample of how they did it, it's very difficult for me to kind of like suss out exactly how things are supposed to be. But let's copy this here. So I had this idea while we were just talking through some random versions. Let's get back in. I think this could be kind of fun. And yeah, Zakar, I'm super excited. I think it was you who was talking about the rifle. Very excited to get some feedback on the rifle changes. But let's see. So there's something interesting about this, right? So it's a beam. It has this like spiral that goes around it, and then it ends in this T shape of kind of like full damage at the full fruition of the blast. And now we're legitimately doing half-ish damage. Or we're doing 75% damage on the blue parts and 100% damage on the rest. Which I don't know, I kind of like. There's something kind of eldritch and arcane about this shape. I don't know what other people think. But I might tinker around with this for a night and just see how it plays and how it feels. And then our new lightning bolt, I think there's some kind of fun about that triangle. Like, it really forces you to find good targets. It's really hard to intuit, but it's like a lot of damage, and it makes lightning bolt scale disproportionately well on targets, which I think is kind of cool. All right, let's still getting those mountains. We probably need to build some mana wells. I'm feeling the burn here of wanting to test out all of our mana using skills. We'll use workers. I don't think we're in any great risk of losing out, but we are playing kind of fast and loose. Let's pick up some damage. I think we're gonna put down the axe. We only use axe boomerang once, but you know, I think it's kind of whatever. With the lightning target, it makes you able to target outside of your range, so that needs some changes. Oh yeah, let me check that out. We'll check that out when we get back in, but that is interesting. We could definitely reduce the range on lightning bolt to kind of like compensate for the fact that it's extremely weird. Let's see. Grab Lone Wolf. Then you're poison, but I think we're retiring poison. Maybe actually let's go Axon. Full axes. Oh, you only have one arm. Dang it. Okay, I want to get the longbow out. Spear can take a nap for a minute here. Well, actually, maybe we go... What's like a full sniper build look like? We can put the magic staff there. We should get another hero. We're too broke to get another hero. Filled with regret. We can sell some items, maybe. In order to get the inn built, at least. I probably shouldn't have sold that axe, but man, always when you don't need it. I really wish that I could come up with some way to change the crossbow. It's like, I think of all of the abilities, I think explosive bolt is probably the one that I would change if I was going to change one. But we're just going to build the inn so that next night we can pick up another hero so we can start testing more stuff. You could also change the origin point to the furthest hit. Yes, that would work too. I want to feel how bad the range feels right now, because I suspect that it's not going to feel that crazy, but very devious idea for Apox 7. I need to get your setup running, but I think I might have something that changes the playstyle for the game a lot in a very fun way. The changes, I've taken a look at Apox Zeal, and the changes you can make are a bit limited. Finally, a two-handed sword shows up. Oh, and it has propagation bounces on it. We haven't talked about the two-handed sword yet. This is, the two-handed sword is the whole reason I got into this in the first place. So the two-handed sword, who's gonna take the two-handed sword? Means we don't get the power staff. That's fine. So the two-handed sword. Oop. Previously, Slash was just a 2 slots in front, and I changed it so that now it is the only base ability that for 2 AP has propagate associated with it. Now this hero has +2 propagation bounces. So normally it has propagation 1, but now it has propagation 3, which I think makes it pretty interesting as an ability. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm still soliciting ideas for the catapult. So there was a discussion of making the catapult. Yeah, I mean, just replace Apox 6, I think is fine, Zeal. But so we've got our ballistas doing stuns. I believe I can rename skill names in Lustrous, but I think that so if we look at the definition here, the skill definition has an ID. We can't change the ID. So that's fixed, that's hard coded, because that exists in the rest of the code. And I don't actually know where the pretty names for either skills or weapons live. We'll eventually find them. But like I have another file over here that you won't be able to see very easily. There we go. This is the weapons definition file, and I know you can't really see this, but like this is sword 0, sword 1, and then it has skill, slice, bash, and blade rush, which incidentally means that we could have one type of sword have a different ability if we wanted to. This is where we would change all of the stats that we get from particular gear sets, etc. But again, it doesn't have any of the pretty names. I think that's because the pretty names exist in the localization files. So that's where we would have to go looking for them. The catapult should be 60% stun and 3 turns of -3 movement. Both of those? Wow, that's a lot. I feel like 3 turns of -3 movement is already like super insane for the catapult. What if we used a secondary effect and we had the center have 100% chance for stun and then snare all of the people around it? What would you think of that as a possibility? There's exploding bone piles. There's the ballista tower skills. Oh wait, this is not the... Sorry, you can't see what I'm looking at. Please hold. Let me find it again. I think this is the one that we want to look at. Yeah, I could see, like, basically, I don't think it is overpowered for the catapult's central hit to guarantee a stun. I think that's extremely reasonable. What is this? Use Cauldron. Center fireball cross is 100% stun, and then the other tiles is movement. Yeah, we could do that. We could certainly try that. Because I think they're relatively... Wait. Oh, this is the improved catapult. Already has ease in places. Okay. So we'd have to improve the catapult, but yeah, let's try this out. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to do ease around the perimeter. So I was going to do... something like this, but I was going to go another one in. And you're saying keep the center all stun? And make the rest movement? This is what I was thinking, was we put a stun on here for the skill effect. Let me go grab one. Do something like this. So, right, so we can do a 1.0. So this is a very, very likely to stun catapult. Make the improved one with the X. Yeah, that's a great idea. So let's see. But we need to finish this one up because we need a secondary... We need a secondary code block, the surrounding effect code block, if you will. Is going to need to be in here. And then the damage is going to be 0. Actually, I guess I can probably leave these and just make the damage multiplier 0. I think that's problematic though. I think I need to 0 out these because if I do it the other way, then I think there's like Fortress Master will potentially make it hit again. Yeah, so in Lustrous, that's what we're thinking for the improved catapult. I think it might be too strong to stun 5 and snare the rest. But now we need an example of snare malice. Where's the snare trap? Slow trap. Here we go. Debuff movement points. Here we go. Grab this. And then the surrounding effect is going to have that. And for the improved, just replace the E's with X's. I don't like defenses having no damage, but certainly reduced. Right now, I'm trying to balance around no damage, Zakar, but I'm open to the possibility that we switch things up in the future. So this one now, I think we're gonna grab this pattern. So rather than it being a square, which I think I have never used before, now we'll have the improved catapult stunning 5. Like so. And then... Oh, wait, I put the stun in the wrong place here, didn't I? No, I put the stun in the right place. And the surrounding effect, we want 3 turns of -3 movement. And then down here, we're going to borrow the stun. No, wait, is that in the skill effect? Yeah, it's in the skill effect. So we go skill effect. We add the base stun. I wonder if we can go like 1.1. Make it even more likely to stun. And then... I have no idea what Use Cauldron is. Literally none. So we'll grab the debuff in the surrounding effect. Now, I think, just to throw this out there, I feel like the stunned enemies should also get snared, right? So I'll also put the Malice debuff here as well. Because otherwise the stunned enemies are going to get stunned and then they're going to be like, all right, I'm good, I'm back. The Mana Well? But no, the Use Cauldron. Let me find it again here. The Use Cauldron has a area effect of the 10 tiles directly in front of the user. It has to have been for a specific, maybe like a map they were testing, possibly. Because like I mentioned before, there's also up here, there's Nuclear Barricade that does 1,000 damage in an X when it is destroyed, I believe. Yeah, I think it's definitely. Condition next to building, catapult next to building. Let's try this out. I also don't think I left us. We don't have enough materials to build the catapult, so we're gonna have to survive another night to get that going. Do we make any other changes? I don't think we did. So let's play a night, and then we'll check out our new catapults. Well, I should, before I forget though. Here's the buildings. Import data, buildings, save and apply, save. And then, oh yeah, and we wanted, we were talking about making Axe Swing, our Axe Boomerang, a 3 AP, because I made it pretty ridiculous. So let's do that while I'm thinking about it. There we go. I think that's a very reasonable change. I'm not trying to make Axe Boomerang the greatest ability that has ever lived. Oh, it's like hot oil being poured over the wall. That makes perfect sense with the design. I actually really like that idea. Maybe we should try and resurrect it. That would be a fun thing to do as well. Okay, let's reload the game, make sure that we didn't break anything. What I have found that especially some of the funky stuff I do with buildings has had some issues, so hopefully we don't lose our save. All right, it's loading, so that's good. And then we'll build ourselves some catapults just to see what they look like. But let's do the thing. Oh, we got level ups to do. That's a thing that we need to do. You're a weird one. A little bit of stun is fine. Take some damage. Sadist is fine. Show me propagation bounces over here. I want to make you a monster. Propagation damage seems good. Take some movement. We have extra trinkets, I'm pretty sure. No, we don't. I'm collecting a lot of gear that I'm not using, but that's okay. All right, let's do another night. Someone has the rifle, right? Yes, you have the rifle. Okay, which means I can show off the rifle because I think the rifle is one of my coolest designs to date. So the idea with the rifle is that your primary attack's limiting factor is movement. So it costs 3 movement to use your primary attack. So if you don't have a lot of movement, you're gonna run out of the ability to use your primary attack, right? So we've used it twice and now we can't use it a third time. But we have hip shot that's now like a run and gun type of concept that allows you to recoup, so then you can get, say, 1 more shot off. But by the end of that, I literally can't move this hero. They're locked in place, which I think is neat. We've also talked about this before, but Arctic Blast now has like a catapult with spots missing type of design. And then you, let's see. So I wanna run you over here because I want to show off my sword, right? So satisfying, right? So it only targets the square directly ahead, but it does like does buku damage. Wow, your skill range is really not ideal, isn't it? I think this might be enough to rescue our friend, the two-handed sword. As crazy as that might sound. And I think just the fact that like we avoid that the ballistas helped us avoid these guys, which I think is fantastic. And then we have like a turn to clean them up, which I think is great. Isn't Propagate Sword dangerous as the hero can hit himself? You cannot propagate on yourself. That is the one rule of Propagate. You can propagate onto others, but not yourself. So let's see. So if I move, so looking at the design of the skills, do I have a? There's not a great option here, but I can do this, and this is basically like a guarantee kill on them. I don't know. It feels good. So, right. So we have big shots that we can do here with the rifle, but now we're out of movement that quick. This hero is also scaling quite well, so the fact that they're hitting as hard as they are is heartening. I think I'm going to bring this hero over here because I want to use a Death Ray. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it has some interesting designs. Propagate onto others as you would propagate onto yourself. Have you thought about some type of defense lowering the resistance of enemies or perhaps heroes' attacks? So I'm trying to leave that as the domain of the tome. Like I don't. Also, I think the new Arctic Blast is pretty cool. I think that shape is really satisfying. Right, and then we have some movement, but here's the thing. I know that if I move, I won't be able to get back up to another rifle shot. So it's actually better to stand still, right? So it makes the rifle this like very interesting, like you want to be stationary, like you want to be a camper, which I think is really, really fun. So if I wanted to use this, right? I think this is kind of cool that it doesn't hit everybody, so you really have to like kind of hunt and peck for it. I like that it's still range modifiable, but that feels pretty. This feels like an interesting Death Ray. It feels engaging. Someone needs to come over and take this guy out. We need some freaking range on our hero here, though. Can you change the traps to have no charges, but need their? So let me check. Hold on. Let's bring it up over here. Let's check out a trap. So the first one that we have is, oh, we're not in the place that I want us to be. Here we go. So after Nuclear Barricade, we have the trap skills. So we have Stun Trap Triggered, which has a damage, it has an area effect, it has a skill. I do not see charges in here, which is not to say that they don't exist, but I have a feeling that they might be on the... They might be in the building definition, not in the skill definition. So far, we've been changing skills and not building. So we could potentially go and hunt those down for sure. Let's see. Okay, so this is a great opportunity, right? We're going to get... This Propagate is going to hit him, then hit this guy, then hit him again. Yeah, which is just such a satisfying thing. And then imagine... once you get volatile reactions, how the sword kind of comes into its own. I think it's pretty neat. I think it's kind of neat. Right? I don't have to worry about them being directly in line. I can just do that. And then you don't have to move, so we can just do a couple of big hits, a couple of little hits, and then we get one more big one if we want it, but we don't need it. You can't change the traps to have no charges, but could you make the number of charges 99, Zeal? Yeah, there you go. All right, so we missed the stun on this guy, I think. No, this guy didn't act. Okay, so so there is some type of bug that is causing stuns not to show up. So let's see. So if I move to here, okay, and I move back even more, back one more, I can do this. That's kind of cool. I get a little shot around the corner there. That's satisfying. But yeah, we're definitely causing a bug where stun doesn't show up all the time, which is certainly curious. Are you planning on changing traps, namely stun trap, to work with your new ballista? So yeah, I had a previous video some ages ago where I talked about the changes I wanted to make to traps. And my general thinking, also that enemy wasn't showing, wasn't showing panic, I think, because they were stunned, but it wasn't showing up. I think this death ray is actually kind of a sneaky cool thing. But yeah, so I had a full redesign. Where moving stun to the ballistas meant that I wanted I wanted stun traps to change into something else. The trap that I wanted most of all, that I don't think we can do in this context, like you can tell that this guy's stunned even though it isn't showing. I really wanted to have a lure trap. The purpose of a lure trap would be, and this is just money. So this new design here, right? It like I immediately pattern matched and I was like, oh, they're in exactly the right shape. Might make that a little, that might be a little on the strong side, but. And then if I move here, I know I get all three of these. Nice. Oh, I didn't get you. Dang. But I like Fire Thrower for the uniqueness of it. It's still 11 targets, which is what it was before. So it's not more targets, but it's an interesting shape. Yeah, exactly, Zeal. But that is the trap that I want most of all. And my idea for the lure trap was to have it give poison and contagion. I thought that would be such an interesting design space. Now let's see. What are my chances here? I think we get that hit. Okay. The rifle feels really good too. Like, the thing is if I had moved, I would have been out of luck. But in the absence of moving, like, the rifle feels like really strong because you're allocating your movement for a different purpose, right? Your movement is now part of how you conceptualize doing damage with the rifle, which I think is a really interesting change. Does the rifle shot still have undodgeable? Yes, the main rifle shot still has undodgeable, Abigail, which I am open to changing. It doesn't need to be that way, but that is its current setup. Let's do a little bit of this and see what we're doing. I love that. It's not hitting quite hard enough, from my perspective, for me to be like excited to use it. A lure trap could be coated with the same entity type as a building so that enemies can target it. Yeah, but then, I mean, maybe actually that might actually be an interesting way to do it. So let's see. We got there's a part of me that was like, maybe there's a death ray to be had here, but I really like the jagged teeth on it. I think it can, but I think then it would have to have hit points and it would have to be hittable, which might cause some problems. The watchtower? So I actually think that things like the rifle buff might be a stealth buff to the watchtower. Like I kind of think that there might be something to be said for, how do I I think we're gonna take some panic. Yeah, and this is such a perfect example. I still have AP over here, but like my hero is really struggling. Oh, I have a lot of skill range though. Okay, so that helps out a bit. So we could snipe these two with Arctic Blast. That's a little expensive, but we get it. And then, all right, it's keeping us in the S rank. Maybe remove the plus movement from hip shot and require movement pot. So the plus movement on hip shot isn't a lot. And I feel like it kind of synergizes well because basically what hip shot is doing is it's giving you one additional rifle shot, which I don't think is super overpowered. It's basically 3 AP to get one additional rifle shot, and then you're spent on movement. I kind of liked the internal synergy there. Watchtower could give +2 skill range in addition to vision. I think that's really smart, actually, Garen. Maybe make the lure traps consumable and not rechargeable. Yeah, we could make them like, have 1,000 hit points or something like that. So hip shot not having movement. I was going for something similar to what I do agree. I think Arctic Blast, I kind of want to change Rain of Arrows though, if I'm being honest. I've never really felt like Rain of Arrows fits super well on the short bow. And I'd love to give the short bow something that has like a little more identity to it. Because I feel like the longbow is the thing that's asking for something that creates isolated targets. Like, I feel like the short bow doesn't care about creating isolated targets, so it was always kind of weird that it had like the industry standard version of that. But yeah, I agree. They are a little overly similar. Right. Basically, it's just 2 pips worth of attack being moved around. Short bow is explosive short range damage, right? I mean, that's the way that I think of it. Let's grab some materials so that we can build a couple catapults. See if catapults crash our game. Let's see. We're getting attacked from over here and over here. Okay, so we'll put like a catapult here and a catapult here. Let's see if the changes actually happened. I mean, that's the way that I think of it in Lustrous. So, okay, so our changes did take. We didn't make any mistakes. So now the catapult is doing no damage. It stuns only the middle unit, and it debuffs movement by 3 on all of the surrounding units. Agreed 100%, Abigail. Hipshot is the premier ability on the rifle because of the opportunism scaling. It's why I actually think Sleeper, there's huge value in rifle Bee's Staff. I think is actually like a weirdly good combo because of the opportunism. We could remove the opportunism from Hipshot, though. I'd be kind of sad to see it go. Oh, is there still damage on the secondary effect? That's 0 to 0. No, so I actually set it explicitly to a 0 multiplier, I think. Let's find that really quickly. Oh, no, I left the multiplier as 1. Yeah, I don't know if I can remove this. We can try removing this to make it cleaner. Save that. Let's reload that and see if that gets rid of the damage or if that breaks the tooltip. I never know which ones are required versus not required. Yeah, so what do we think about stripping opportunism from the hip shot? I kind of like that idea. I don't think the rifle needs it anymore. If we come down here, let's find hip shot. And reduce the range on hip shot? Or do we want to keep its opportunism identity and maybe just reduce its range? That's an interesting idea. So let's see. So there's our first one. Here's hip shot. So all I did was add the bonus movement point. Yeah, because the watchtowers have no skills of their own, it's possible that they don't exist in XML at all, and all of the definition is done in code. Ooh, range modifiable false is interesting. So it'll never have more than 8 range. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that idea. So we can false that. Yeah, so then it's still interesting. It still packs a wallop on close targets, but now, oh, okay, so this is cool because now you have this really interesting, like it puts the player in an interesting decision-making space because they now have to be like, well, I have to stay close to the wave to use my hip shots. But I have to be, I want to be far away because I'm not going to have any movement by the end of the turn. So you're in this there's this very fine line, and it's going to be really hard to use it from a watchtower. I do think it's a nerf to watchtowers coupled with ranged items, but let's see. I think there's something interesting there. So let's see. This is melee weapons. This is ranged weapons. Let's import the ranged weapons changes. And then let's also go to the buildings and import the buildings changes. Save and apply, send that over there. Yeah, I think the hip shot, this is very clever. Yes, so it does make taking movement on a rifle person really advantageous, right? Like there's that interesting angle. Like I have, for the purposes of this, I've kind of like not taken a lot of movement on this hero, but there's like an argument to be said that like your rifle hero is going to need like a minimum of 12 movement just to be at all comfortable. All right, let's see how we did with the catapults. Okay, so now they don't show 0 damage on the second half. I think that's fine. Let's see. What weapons do we want to play with this time? Do I have anyone with the tome currently? I really want to get a tome back out here, especially a higher level tome, so that I can see how that works. I don't know that all rifles do. That's a good question, Abigail, but several of the rifles have minus movement, which I think is also like, you know, a good aspect of it. But yeah, I think there's maybe one rifle that doesn't have that. This one, maybe they all do. This one definitely does. I'll grab a mana crystal. I don't think we're actually going to use it, but let's get the tome back out there. I'd like a higher level tome because I really want to see how this works. I'm gonna roll. Oh yeah, we were gonna get another hero too. Look at me remembering to do things. Shantae, or let's get Studs. Welcome to the fray, Studs. I'm not paying too much attention. I was about to say, did I really recruit someone who doesn't have an offhand? No, he's good. We can give him this. I want to show you the super spin, or I want to go back to super spin as well. So we'll have this hero be Tome of Secrets super spin. Well, let's put our Tome of Secrets with our sword, because ironically now they have a bit of overlap. We'll grab some extra propagation damage. We can give this to someone else. Studs. We could go like a full opportunism build with Studs. We did pick up a nice axe. Yeah, let's stack some opportunism and see how that plays out. Obviously, I'm not thinking too hard about the decisions we're making here. Not enough hands for all those weapons. True that. We could also mess with spiky counter. I've been threatening that for like a minute here. But the only idea that I had, and I think Abigail gave me some good feedback in the Discord about it, is that I might be swinging the pendulum too far in the other direction by giving everything propagate. I thought spiky counter having propagate 1 or something like that could have been really interesting. You're not doing propagates. Take a little bit more stun, I guess. And a bit more physical. All right, Studs has entered the chat. Studs looks fine. I'm excited to use these catapults, see how they work. Propagation damage needs more. We could increase the fall off. That's a possibility. Let's see. Zayna. You only have one arm. Zayna. You have an axe. All right, let's do that. We haven't talked about Putrid Ball in a minute either. Sometimes I say things on stream and I'm just like, it's a weird thing I just said. The lack of talking about Putrid Ball is concerning, to say the least. Do we want to get... Let's get a higher level spear. Can I give that to Studs? Well, I want someone to have... Yeah, Studs doesn't need that. We can get that. Because I want to work on the Mithril Spear. I've done weird things to it. I don't know that they're good things. This will help us to determine if I have done good things. All right. We're going to be testing out some catapults. Let's do the thing. I think we're safe. I'm really slacking here on actually getting people sorted or building my base properly. Yes, that would be really smart, Abigail. If that worked that way, that would be very cool. So let's see. So I'll place down another one of these. We're definitely hitting diminishing returns on those. And then I guess let's grab like one more item. Why not? Maybe it will remind me of something that we need. So I'm open to completely refactoring the longbow and Arctic Blast. Or we could start workshopping a different way that Rain of Arrows could be. You know, like Rain of Arrows could be a multi-hit ability. I wish there was a multi-hit that didn't have a multi-hit where you couldn't hit the same target multiple times. Could be an interesting one. But let's just test out these catapult changes and we'll see what comes next. Oh, now I have to check one other thing. So the other thing that's going on today that we haven't talked about, oh, it does look like, I'll do this in the background, but it does look like we have been given a game by the developers, Wantless. We were sent a key for a game called Wantless that we'll be checking out at the end of stream. Yeah, let's check catapults. They looked good. The tooltip looked good. Yeah, so see, now it has a stun, and then it's debuffing the movement of everyone else. Let's fire one out and see what happens. Right, so this guy gets stunned and minus movement, and then all these guys get -3 movement for 3 turns. I think that's pretty impactful. I like the idea of that. Let's check out Lightning Bolt. It's been a minute. Lightning Bolt is so weird in its current form. I kind of love it. It is so hard to... It's so hard to make it work. And I think that's fantastic. Oh my god. There's something about it. That seems unbelievably strong. Just because I have more opportunism targets, I'm not doing any damage. Talk to me a bit more about that while I try and find a place to drop a lightning bolt. Looks like I'm not going to get a lightning bolt this turn. I think it's just not meant to be. I'm surprised that you would say that. Like, my goal of trying to make catapults feel not terrible is a quest that I'm doubting I'm going to be able to accomplish. So I'm surprised to hear that you're feeling like, oh yeah, the non-range modifiable aspect of this is definitely a thing. There we go. Minus movement is valuable debuffs. Yeah, I mean, but when you think about it, right, you're not getting... I could definitely go -2 movement, but I kind of felt like... Right, that's what I was thinking, right? Because it's on the limited shot thing, I feel like, you know, you're going to be using it very specifically. The fact that it has a single stun on the middle one means that you have kind of some options for how you use it. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Now, this one is a controversial one. 3 turns could be too long. I'm open to that. So this is the new triple swipe, just to show you what it looks like in plainer day. I don't know that this is good, but it's kind of funky. If you change it from attack to generic, you won't have to put the 0 damage. Like -4 for 1 or 2 turns seems more sensible. I can do that. Let's make that change now, because I hear you and I agree. Let's see. So we'll do 4 malice for 2 turns. We could also for the primary attack, and then for the upgraded version, all I did was make the stun hit more enemies for the engineering version of the catapult. So we go, do we stick with 4 and 2 here in the case of, you know, you've invested in Omen in making your catapults better? Do we think 4 and 2 is still the correct amount? Or maybe here we go 3 and 3 so that it really slows people down a little bit more? I kind of like that idea. So 4 and 2, I might even go 3 and 2 on the base version and then go 3 and 3 on this version. 4 and 2 seems nice. Okay. I'll leave it as 4 and 2 then. I trust that. We won't reload the game right now, but like you can replace attack with skill action by generic and remove the lines. Okay, yeah, let's try that out. Let's see. So you're saying, where am I? I'm lost here. So under attack, we change this to generic. Like that, and change this to generic here, and then we can get rid of base damage and attack type physical and damage multiplier, I presume. And then down here, yeah, I think that's what we need to do. But the better version has 4 additional stuns over 2 turns. That's huge. So the 2 turns... Oh, yeah, we need to test this, actually. Hold on. This is the guy that got stunned. Okay. So this shouldn't be stunned for 2 turns here. The reason it's stunned for 2 turns on the ballistas is because they fire at the end of the turn and we immediately lose 1 stack. So it should only be 1 turn here for these. And then we'll go generic... like so. Switch this to a generic tag. And then 4-2, 4-2, 1 turns of stun. Yeah, it shouldn't be 2 turns of stun. That was a carryover from the fact that ballista are weird in the way that they operate. Yeah, we'll try this out. I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't work. You know, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. We can roll it back pretty easily. Let's see. So what do people think about triple swipe? No longer being a cone, but instead fanning out more aggressively. My experience is that it is very hard to utilize, but that might be interesting, right? It also hits slightly more targets in this form. Triple bad, and I think it looks hilarious. I mean, it wasn't a triple before. That was my issue with it. Also, and this is probably the more controversial one, I was testing out Impale as a T-shape attack rather than a pokey attack, but I think this is bad. I think we should revert that change. Let's find Impale. I wish Impale had some more flavor to it. There's Super Spin. Here's Impale. Yeah, so why I'm trying to make that worse, I don't know. Let's see, we'll do that, and then that. So we'll return Impale back to its former glory. But I kind of wish it had some flavor. Ooh, what if we did like a this? So it goes, but then it splits out at the end, like almost like a trident style type thing. I know this is small and hard to see. Make Impale 1 AP, but do 50% damage at the second tile. So we add a secondary action to it so that it does full damage, and then partial damage. I worry that then it's just totally overlapping with Rush. Like, one of the things I don't like about the Spear is you have 2 abilities that are collinear, right? You're like, okay, I can do the 3 long attack, or I can do the 2 long attack. I don't know. I'm gonna table that for a second while people chew on it, but Let's see. Over here, let's see. You're rifling. That's all fine. You have no more actions. You have a few actions. We could probably take this out. Oh, we could try to. Oh, that's another thing. I also added movement to watch out. We hadn't talked about this yet, but I thought there was kind of an interesting idea to watch out is like, hey, get out of the way. And either you could like move out of the way or you could also get some dodge out of it. It was 3 long before in Lustrous, yeah. Maybe make only the tip hit really hard and the 2 tiles before it weaker. Ooh, Garanthor. That's a spicy idea. Right? If we made this last one a secondary effect and just made it do like double damage at the tip of the spear. Oh, that's fun. Let's do that. Okay. I like that idea a lot. Let me just find a sample of one of these secondary attacks so that I can snipe it. There we go. Surrounding effect. So wait, surrounding effect goes in... I always forget. It's under skill effect. We need to grab the skill effect one too because we only have an attack here. There we go. As a compensation, you could add movement back to reduce the clunkiness. Would it make sense to make your closest time to be the most damage and the next 2 ones weaker? You know, in Lustrous, I think that, like, I don't know what game I'm thinking of right now, but there's certain games where it's essentially like a skill shot, right? So, like, you know, if you hit them just with any part of your beam, you do a certain amount of damage, but then the tip of the spear, if you perfectly line that up and time everything right, you get like extra damage. I think there's something cool about Impale being like if you're exactly this number of tiles away from the specific enemy, you do a boatload of extra damage type of thing. Maybe we go like a 3.0 modifier on the damage multiplier for the surrounding effect. I think that's actually super cool. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, physics-wise in Lustrous, I think what you're describing makes sense. I'm thinking of this more from like the way it feels to play it type of thing. I think it could be cool to go that way. Okay, we've made a bunch of changes. So before we go too much further, let's lock and load them. Magic weapons. Did we make any changes to magic weapons? I don't even know anymore. Then we got our melee weapons, which we definitely made changes to. Then we got our ranged weapons, which I think we also made changes. I'm still pondering if there's a way to make Rain of Arrows more unique. All right, let's see. We can delete that, quit out of that, copy this here. And I do think, just to give people an idea of the way stream is progressing, I think at 1 p.m., so in like 40 minutes, 3 is a lot of movement for watch out, on par with skills that are limited to self. What's this limited to self one? Because like Windwalk you can use on other people. So maybe just make it like 2 so it's enough to enable leap. That could be an option. I kind of figured since it's only a single use ability, it's a single use ability. You're only going to be using it on one person, but like being able to do that like long range, boop, here, have a lot of movement is like a very unique benefit to give to the longbow that I think is very, it's thought provoking. At least for me. But we'll see. It may be too strong. I agree. I don't think you're going to be able to abuse it that much, though. It also means that you can give one rifle shot to someone you're paired up with, which I thought was kind of a nice dynamic. All right, so let's take a look at the spear now. So the spear now has a blue tip to it, and the blue tip is doing 800 damage. I think a 3x multiplier might be too much. Dodge and movement +3 is the same as Windwalk. I don't have a scepter right now, but it's close. Multi-hit a 3 square, but with 50% damage. Ooh, I kind of like that idea. But that is a lot of damage, for sure. How much are the other hits doing? I mean, the other hits are doing 300. But I think 800 is a lot. But this hero is also popping off a little bit. So they're killing everybody anyways. I don't know. I'm not convinced it's totally broken, but I think it is high. I just love using death rays. But I love it. It's so hard to make death ray work. I kind of dig that death ray is. Oh, with boom? With boom, it starts to get a little insane, doesn't it? Now let's see. Did we do this correctly? Yes. So look, no longer has damage as a listed effect. We can make that change elsewhere too. Yeah, with boom, it starts to get a little crazy. The scaling starts to get a little cuckoo bananas. We'll have to think about that. Okay, but I think we're in a position where we can finally use Lightning Strike, which I've been wanting to. Yeah, but this hero has gotten quite strong. All right, so let's see if we can find it. Okay, so this is hitting 3 clusters. We need to move this hero. Let's check out the new lightning. Uh-oh, wait, I lost the spot. Did I? Where? Oh yeah, here we go. So this is hitting 3 different clusters. I don't mind that it can target a little outside of the range. It's not getting much outside of the range. Boom, boom, and that. Yeah, that could be. The lightning feels fun. It really does. Like right now, our hero has +2 propagate. So for a total of 5 propagates, that felt really like on point. We have not tested follow propagation yet, Abigail. That's on the list. We can do that in a second here. All right, let's see. So how far are we away from getting? We need to get some heroes with boom, because I agree. We may be making some poor choices here. But yeah, moving a step back like that, how hard are you hitting? Like 840? I mean, it is kind of fun to have the tip of the spear booming so effectively, but it may be outside of the realm. I like this too. It feels very satisfying. I think Death Ray feels a lot better than it used to, which I'm pleased by. I was really struggling with Death Ray, so. But I mean, you have to remember, these multi-hits are hitting for 300. So the total damage of Flurry of Strikes right now is also like about 800. So maybe we tone down the 2 shorter portions, so it's doing less and doing more at the tip. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's go back to this. What if we did a damage multiplier here of 0.75? So we make the front 2 hits less. And then we make this like a 2.5. I think that could be interesting. Because now we're hitting these 2 a little less. So like you're concentrating damage on this far one. And then with boom, you're going to get some blowback to this middle one. So you'll probably do like 100% damage there. I think that could work. That could be interesting. Let's see. Now we have We have a hip shot, which gives us 1 movement. We didn't talk about it, but I did make Assassinate the longest range ability in the game. This person has skill range, but it is 2 AP, right? Yeah, it's a 2 AP ability. Yeah, I didn't switch it from being a 1 AP ability. I think it's okay at a 2 AP ability. We'll see though. We'll see. We're still experimenting. Now, we have our catapults, so I can we can see about stunning this this elite. We made the stun chance high. So we're actually going to be landing the stuns, which I think makes catapults feel very impactful. The fact that this guy is still stunned for 1 and has -7 movement is a little hilarious, but it is not. I already checked that, and I've already felt the pain of that. It's a little painful, but we'll double check. We will reconfirm. So let's see, hip shot. Yeah, so hip shot has lost the icon for range modifiable, so it is not. Yo, dude, you're in an awkward place. You know that? We lost a lot of turn there. Well, we'll be able to get back a little bit, I guess. All right, have we reloaded since I changed the spear? I want to change the spear, so let's go back to the main menu. Oh, no worries. I think I only checked it visually. I didn't explicitly say, oh, look, this is working the way that I want it to. But it feels very limiting, I will say. It's hard to get that close, especially since you're ending your turns with no movement. I think it's a very smart combination. So let's see. And this is melee, which is where our spear changes are. Which one is this? This is ranged. All right. And then this one is buildings. Oh yeah, the Rain of Arrows idea. Let's do that before we go any further, because I really liked the idea that you had. So let's find Rain of Arrows. Sorry, there's a lot of feedback and thought coming my way. The game is very consistent in making all non-melee weapon skills be range modifiable. It's only perks and teleports that are not modifiable. I don't know that... I agree that is the way that works. All right, later, Zeal. But I don't know that it's absolutely critical for it to work that way. So what were we talking? We were saying 3x3 and a cross. So yeah, so what if we do... This is starting to feel a little like explosive shot, though, with the shape. So I'm not sure I'm totally bought in. Maybe we do the X like this way, because this retains some of its uniqueness as being like this structure of shot, and then we can trim this because we don't need to leave extras. So we have something like that. Origin is at 1-1. Then we make the... We can't make the damage modifier too low. I think a 50% damage modifier would like nerf it into the ground. And I think we want to keep the number of multi-hits very low. Right? I'm just going up here to get a multi-hit count type of thing. I think even like 1.25 with 2 multi-hits to start is interesting. Let's try something like that. You have to remember that the base damage on these weapons is not... Like, the base damage is tuned to line up with the like, primary attack. So we want it to be... We're spending mana on it. We're spending 4 mana on it. Well, we're limiting its scope quite a bit. But yeah, it is hitting 5 targets with 1 multi-hit. More multi-hit skills is just going to make multi-hit too powerful. I mean, it's already too powerful, in my opinion, Abigail. I think forever it will be too powerful. But I think maybe... Oh, 75%. So the original was what? 1.65? So... So don't make it stronger. Yeah, I know. It was an interesting idea, though. Rain of Arrows is so iconic. But I hear you. It fits thematically. But... Making a new blaze. Yeah, it does have the danger of doing that. Maybe make it 3 targets. Oh yeah, no, I remember the old blaze. It was the stupidest skill in the game by a lot. And I will say that I do not think that Rain of Arrows with like multi-hit 1 would be the same one. So no, right now the initial targets, yes, is 10 targets. You're right. Yeah. So the old version of this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the old version was 7 targets. So we definitely don't want it hitting more than that. And we could do... I do think an AoE... I think there's something interesting about an AoE... an AoE multi-hit. But I don't know that we need it here. 0.5 proficiency. Oh, that's a good idea, Dennis. That's very smart. We do 4 targets in a square. I think if we're adding multi-hit, I don't think we can make this multi-hit. I think Abigail is correct. It's too significant a... Like, it's already too powerful. I can't imagine how this would ever scale. Like, if you got a bunch of multi-hit and you were hitting like 7 times, even with 3, like 21 targets, with the way that damage scales, it's going to become the best item in the game by a mile. I don't know how else to make Rain of Arrows unique, though. Let's leave it for the moment. I'm gonna, sometimes you need to kind of like take a step back and ponder things. I think we did everything, so let's copy this here. But yeah, I love the idea of going with a multi-hit with like a square or an X. So, but this is the thing, Garen. With the AoE, you could get multiple legendary assassins procs with each hit. Yeah, that's the thing, Abigail. Add poison to it. But yeah, the multi-hit is just one of those things where if you give it an inch, it takes a mile. So I think that's tough. I need to give it some thought. I think we'll probably table Rain of Arrows for the Discord. We'll go back and we'll think about it. I want something unique. I think that the identity of Rain of Arrows moving over to the longbow is a good one. Like, I think that's the correct way. Let's check out our new Impale, though. What is our new Impale hitting for? It's hitting for 230 on the front ones, and it's hitting for 700 up to 700 on the back. I think that's actually perfect. I really like where that ended up. That feels good. Now let's see. What do we need to do here? I guess so another interesting thing. Well, we can do like one of these. It is really strong, I will say. The Arctic Blast design now, that's doing a lot of damage. I may need to tweak that down a bit. We'll see. And then Sniper Shot, I reduced it to 1 AP or 1 mana, I think. I think I reduced it to 1 mana. Axe Boomerang is a little ridiculous. It's our first 3 AP ability, but it feels, I don't know, that feels pretty iconic to me, right? Like that pattern there has the ability to just hit a ton, but 3 AP is a really expensive one, and the shape is kind of awkward with the 2 diagonal wings. AoE Poison. All empty space between slows 4 for 1 turn. Let me do that just because it's fun. All right, and then if you want to, you have the ability to get like 1 big hit there. That feels pretty good. I like that. Oh, you used up your turn already, didn't you? Bah humbug. All right, so let's see. You still have actions. I don't think we're S rank in this one. There's part of me that's like, just get the 3 of them with the T shape at the end there. So I know a lot of people who love the longbow and are active in the Ishtar Discord always talk about using it in conjunction with the short bow just for rain of arrows to create isolated enemies and get a sensible amount of kills. Yeah, I think that's the way that I've successfully used it, Abigail. I think that is... The problem is, like, I think you can have synergy between weapons, but that one doesn't feel like synergy to me anymore. It feels like the only way to make the longbow work is to pair it with the short bow, which I don't think is necessarily good. You know what I mean? Like, that's the challenge. Let's see. Just get rid of one of you, and then who has actions left? You have actions left. Oh, hold on. Don't move so far. Wait, oh, we already used Assassinate. All right. All right, we're trying to recruit movement here so that hopefully we can get one more rifle shot off. Those hip shots are killer, though. Yep, the inaccurate hip shots that don't have range modification. Yeah, exactly. They feel like they were designed for that purpose. They were designed to kind of be that duo, which is fine. So right now I have an interesting choice, right? I can use one of my catapults to reduce the amount of panic that we're getting. I think I will. Right? We get a stun there. It's basically guaranteed because we set the stun chance high there, and that buys us time for hopefully getting the S rank here. I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. And the fact that the stuns overlap, I think, is really satisfying. Can we make a damage scaling the same as an accurate? Probably not without coding. Yeah, I don't think so. It's a very interesting idea. Let's see. Can we get a lightning bolt? Oh my god. Lightning bolt is so awkward. I kind of love it. It's like, it's super strong, but it is such a bear to effectively use. Like, the 3 triangles are just so awkwardly placed. Kovacs, I will probably continue to make tweaks and do some cleanup off stream. And then next week, I'm planning on picking up where we leave off here and doing more work. I think that's going to be our foreseeable future of last spelling. Because that could be a solution. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. All right, I'm going to use a lightning bolt, even though we're only getting 2 out of the 3 charges. Still very strong. Still very strong indeed. And then... I thought Assassinate was undodgeable. Oops. Let's pretend that didn't happen. 3 AP makes Axe Boomerang really interesting. Hard to justify. Hard to justify for sure. And also, the sword attack slash having propagate does mean that in some situations it's just really not good for single isolated targets, which I think is also very interesting. It's creating interesting interplays. Assassinate and Snipe Shot, yeah, they are 2 sides of the same coin, or 2 sides of different coins. I don't know which way I want to say that. But yeah, I kind of love that we're getting question marks on the intermediate shorter shots, which I think is perfect. Like, for this point in the game, it feels great to be like, well, I'm not sure if I'm killing the 2 ones closer, but I'm definitely sealing the deal on the farther one. Is like, that means at least in this case we nailed our balance here, but you know, not that it has to stay that way. I think every weapon should have at least 2 build paths. Example, longbow should be isolation or setting it up, and the buff debuff support. The buff debuff support doesn't... I worry that doesn't stand on its own. This guy is stunned despite the visual glitch. Like, I think we'd have to... I like what you're saying. I like that concept. I'm curious about what we would need to do to make that actually come to fruition. Like, we'd need to buff the support path for the longbow, if that's the path that we're going to go down. Because right now I don't think we've successfully done that. Putrid Ball is, I don't think, going to be enough poison. It's only doing 44 poison. That's not enough. Alright, we're going to lose the S rank, but that's fine. That's not what we're focused on. I guess we could technically, we can help ourselves out a little with a Sword Blast. That's not enough damage. We can't move back, so we don't have another option, so we'll just do that. That way the sniper shot can be a debuff that removes armor on surrounding targets or something. Ooh. Hey, actually, yeah, sniper shot. What if sniper shot had a resistance reduction? You know, normally that's only the domain of the tome, but I don't like it when things are like singularly powerful, and that could be an interesting one. I kind of like that idea. I'm having a lot of fun with Slash, I gotta say. It doesn't feel super overpowered. I mean, clearly we haven't built it fully to that end. But the thing that I like is, like, look at this. It's so hard to get a lightning bolt. Like, I can technically do this lightning bolt, and I can get 2. So we'll do it, because lightning bolts are fun. But, like, where was that? Where was that shot? Oh, my. We can get these two. Sure, let's do that. I think Lightning Bolt is one of my favorites, honestly. It feels really good. And then, like, we can come around this way knowing that Impale is going to get the two front ones with less damage and the big one with more. It does feel unwieldy, but I think that's awesome. Like, I think the unwieldiness is, like, super on brand for an ability where you're literally calling down, like, from the heavens, you're calling down a lightning bolt. Like, I don't think your targeting is going to be on point necessarily, you know? Yeah, I have not figured out turning functionality, so it is just the triangle that I made it, and depending on which way the hero is facing, that's the direction that it goes. So Snipe Shot crits for like 700. Assassinate crits for like 500. Let's try this. Now I'm out of movement, so I can't... If I move forward to get a hip shot in, since it's not range modifiable, I actually have to do 2 before I get a shot off. All right. There's something interesting about... The rifle feels fun. It feels weird, but it feels fun. Can we change Meteor Strike? Yeah, I don't know where the orientation code comes from. I love that we were saved some panic by our friends the ballistas. I really like the way that the ballistas are working right now. Actually, I think it's pretty good. We are rocking the 1-cost weakening touch. Currently it has 3 charges. That might be a little strong, but it's, I don't know, I kind of dig it. Why not make the 3rd spear spell a little low use multi-hit AoE? Like 1.0 on target and 6.5 on the others. That's an interesting idea. Make a... I think that if we did that though... Hi, Wounded Tooltip. How are you doing? Can I make you go away? Nope. All right. Cool. Yeah, I like that idea. So, okay. So I think at this point, we have. It's not a sponsored stream as I'm not being compensated by the developer, but I was given a key for a new game that looked super fun that I want to check out. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to call the modding stream here for the moment. If you have more ideas... The free stun... So the stun is not guaranteed, Abigail. It's like a 60% or something like that. I do agree. I think the current stun traps are worthless, though. Like, I don't ever use them. They just seem bad to me. So I'm not super worried about cannibalizing their functionality. The thing that I really like about the current ballistas is that they don't target independent enemies. So unlike ballistas in kind of the current game where they stack their damage on top of each other and you can basically kill anything, these ballistas really don't benefit from being co-located because they all try and stun the same thing and you just have a higher chance of stunning it. So I think there's something interesting there. I agree we can keep workshopping ballistas, but I do want to overhaul all of the traps. I think right now the traps are all pretty meh. and I don't like the idea of any of the defenses doing damage, so I'm trying to kind of like shift away from that, and I want to make sure that things still feel like they have value. But anyways, we'll keep working on this. As I was saying before, if you're enjoying this and you have ideas, we have a thread in the Discord where you can submit your ideas. Yeah, I agree, Abigail. I think we can maybe tweak them and twist them and make something go. And then also, if you want to support the channel and you like what we did here and you're over in Twitch land, heading over to YouTube is an incredible way to support me. But yes, I'm excited to hear your thoughts. We definitely have some things that are overtuned. Nothing here is final. But we're tinkering and we're testing, and I like what we have done here so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to go check out a new game that is fresh off the presses today, called Wantless. Let me get the full name here. It is Wantless Solace at the World's End. Code was provided to me by the developer. Seemed like a really friendly person, so excited to highlight their game. So give me a minute here, and we'll figure out how to get this second half of the stream go. Doesn't matter to me, Abigail. The thing that I always tell people, I want people to watch where it's comfortable for them. Right? That's my sole goal. For a long time, Twitch banned multi-streaming, and it was really sad because I just want people to be able to get my content where they want to get it. So, all good. Watch where it is comfortable for you. All right, VS Code, good night until tomorrow. Firefox, good night until tomorrow. Mr. Scrake, you're here just in time. Asset Bundle Extractor. I will probably do a official video on modding the last spell to really go through the tools and give everyone everything they need. No, we're switching over to a new game, Mr. Scrake. So if you hang around for just a minute, that will happen. So what do I want to do here? I want to grab the new one over here. Oh, we need to get a new key going here, do we? Looks like we do. We got an error. Hold on 1 second. Thursday. What did I just select? Oh, no, that's 1080p stream. Shoot. Let's see. Go with the Monday one. Okay, there we go. All right, so I will be back in just a second. It will be the same stream for people on Twitch. Hey, thank you, Garan, thank you. Have a good one, and hope to see you next week, maybe for more of the same. But yeah, give me a minute here. I'll be right back. Just hang tight. If you're in YouTube land, you'll get automatically transferred over. Otherwise, I'll see you in a minute.